It's a virtual wildcard matchup on a Saturday night beneath the roof at Docklands. We thought the equation was simple for St Kilda, win and in. Maybe not so simple on the back of that GWS result. They'll head to the Gabatoir in their final round to take on Brisbane. We'll explain more in a moment. These Cats, it is simple for them. Have they used up all of their lives? They certainly have. They need to win tonight and win next week if they are to play finals this year and try and defend their premiership. Ben Cameron in commentary alongside Jess Webster tonight. Fitting we've got two St Kilda champions with us. Luke Ball, the Collingwood premiership player, and Nathan Burke, the Australian Football Hall of Famer. No late changes. The subs, Brandon Parfitt and Hunter Clark. Jess, good to see you. It's a virtual wildcard matchup, isn't it?
It is. G'day, Ben. Great to be here. I love this time of year. Everything's on the line. You've just got to win and make finals. Two teams going head-to-head under the roof at Docklands. And these two sides have played some great contests here at this venue. And interestingly, it's, Geelong have the recent history behind them. Saints have only beaten them twice in the last 15 games, going back to 2011. So certainly the history going the Cats' favour, and the Saints haven't dropped out of the 8 all season, but they still need to win to make it, so a lot on the line for them. I'm just really looking forward to seeing these two sides go head to head.
It's all very confusing because I came here tonight thinking, like I said in the intro, St Kilda just need to win and they will play finals. They've been in the 8 all year. All of a sudden, GWS whacks Essendon. They make up 7% in terms of percentage. They're only 1% and change behind St Kilda now, so there could be enough of a swing even if St Kilda win tonight. If they lose badly to Brisbane next week, they miss, but the equation stays the same. Right now, St Kilda must win. Luke Ball.
Yeah, that's right, Ben, and it's exciting for them, isn't it? It's exciting for what you'd hope would be almost a full house tonight. Their home ground, the Saints, we know they play well here, and they should go in feeling pretty confident tonight, Jess, against this Geelong team. There's some key players out, obviously. We're just chatting off air before, Berkey. I'm looking down at Rowan Marshall warming up in the middle of the ground now. He should be licking his lips. It looks like Sam De Koning, who was warming up with the midfielders, might have to do some ruck work tonight. So Marshall's had another terrific year. Can he capitalise on that and give his midfielders first use? And we know that when they do that here under the roof of the Saints, they can score very quickly and control field position. So they're in good enough form to win this. And you really want to be in control of your own destiny. Don't worry about next week. Win tonight. Worry about next week then. And the Saints, can finish off what's been a really good year for them. The Cats, well, as you said, Ben, it's their last chance at it this year. Last chance
saloon. Nathan Burke, nobody quite rides the Saints like your good self. You're fresh from AFLW coaching in the pre-season today. Great to see you once again. How confident are you that St Kilda, having been in the 8 all year, can go very close to clinching a spot here with a win tonight?
I'm confident in that their best is pretty good. It's the gap between their best and worst and that grey area in between that's really worried them all year. They've had some really ordinary performances, but this has to be treated by both teams as an elimination final. We've seen one elimination final today between GWS and Essendon, and that was a 21-goal difference. So let's hope this elimination final lives up to that moniker. But the Saints here, this is their home ground. They've got a good side in. They're not really wanting anyone out of this side, so no excuses whatsoever.
Let's swing it down to Ian Cohen, who's sitting in the front row and with us again on Saturday nights. Ian.
Thanks, Ben. Good evening, everyone. Geelong have won the toss and they will kick to the left-hand end of your ABC Grandstand radio. The subs, Hunter Clark, number 11 for the Saints, and Brandon Parfitt, number 3 for Geelong. About to get the bounce underway, and it's a full house.
Thanks, Cozy. You're with Jess Webster on Grandstand AFL.
Marshall wins the first tap for the Saints, but straight to De Koning is opposite Ruckman, who has a couple of goes at getting the hand pass free. It does get out the way of Crouch to Ross. I thought that was a throw, but Ross plays on, sends Saints into attack. Free kick, whistle on play to St Kilda with the advantage. Be paid at will. It's Owens running into an open goal and dribbles home the first. Saints on the board through their rising start. One straight 6, Geelong yet to score. 30 seconds into this opening term on Grandstand AFL.
Oh, what a start, Berkey. I'm just looking down at Jack Higgins' 100 game. He would be a little bit flat, I reckon, that the advantage was taken there. He had a free kick 25 metres out directly in front of goal, and we know how much he loves a snag, but it was a little bit risky too, to be honest. If that hadn't have gone through from Mitch Owens, was it Mitch Owens? Yeah. I would have liked to a scan to the coach's box on that one. But the centre clearance again, we spoke about it before, just briefly before the game there. I like the DeConey matchup in the ruck. We know that Marshall's great in the air and on the ground, and we've seen his brother, really, flourish in the ruck over the last month or so for the Blues. So why not Sam? But brilliant centre clearance work there from Crouch to get it to Ross for the first goal for the Saints.
Dream start for the Saints. A little nerve settler. Marshall wins the tap back in the middle. The Koning trying to follow up. Dangerfield picks it up. Goes to Duncan. Swings a handball back to O'Connor. At halfback, he'll chip out towards the wing for the Cats. Bouncing ball there for Stewart. He'll kick it round the wing. Coming up, Myers can't mark. Sinclair for the Saints wins it. Little 1-2 with Hill. Gives it off to Wood. Running forward of the wing. He'll kick into the pocket. King gets a little bit of separation from Radigalea. And low down he marks 40 metres out. Worse than a 45-degree angle. Left forward pocket.
Saints have lined up pretty attacking across the half-back line. Marcus Windhager's come up onto the wing on a Tui, so you think that might be a bit of a... We're going to play close to you, Tui, on the wing, and you've got Jack Sinclair and Wangani Malira coming off the half-back line, so it's a pretty attacking running half-back line.
And aren't they great matchups? Because we know that's a massive strength of the Cats with Myers and Stengel up as high half-forwards. They've been in brilliant form, so... Fascinating matchups there across half forward for the Cats tonight.
An early heat check here for Max King. It'll be across the face. He can't find the major opening. Punched away. Loose ball in the back pocket for the Cats. Onto it, Buse. Handball away to Watkins. Trying to run it off halfback. Crouch has got him. Holding the ball. And St Kilda bringing the early defensive heat. They'll have the free kick at half forward. Gresham will get the free kick.
Saints by 6 as Gresham kicks backwards to Webster. Between wing and half forward. Unsure where to go at first. Elects to just chip it out wide, looking for Windhager. Atkins applied the pressure. Windhager hand passes to Gresham. Kicks into the pocket. No one home for the Saints. And O'Connor fills the hole and takes the intercepting grab for the Cats. Kicks across the face of goal to Colin Jasny. It's called a play on. Last line of defence. Kicks it out wide, but he's turned it over straight to Hill, who's marked 50 out from goal, close to the boundary. It's a pretty crowded forward 50. Hill, the centering kick into the arc. It's off hands. Running after it is DeConing. His hand pass looking for Dangerfield, knocked away from him. Seb Ross gets boot to ball, jams it on the boot inside forward 50. Coming through is Mason Wood, jams it on the boot towards the goal square. It's gone down the back. I think it's touched on the line. Desperate stuff on the last line of defence from O'Connor, and it's a rush behind to the Saints. 1-1-7 to Geelong, yet to score 3 minutes into the opening term.
There's a fortuitous bounce there for the Cats because it did just pop up enough for him to get his hand on it, but boy, the Saints are all over them at the moment.
Got the backspin. Like a little wedge onto the green. Cats with it at left half back. Zach Tui going back inside defensive 50 to Stewart. Tui playing his 150th game for the Cats tonight. Back to Stewart, who moves it on to Zach Guthrie. His brother returned via the VFL today. Back to Radigalea. Back to Tui, still inside their defensive arc. In the left back pocket, the Cats. Tui stabbing it for a leading dunk, and he drops the mark. The Saints begin to swarm inside their attacking 50. Buse picks it up. He's tackled by King. Spits out, holding the ball. Nearly the advantage taken. And dumped into the ground is Higgins.
50 years, yeah.
It will be 50. It was after the whistle. A little unnecessary. And Jack Higgins is a little worse for wear. King will go to the goal square. And we'll wait for the replay, but Max King coming off an equal career high, 6 goals last week. Hops through his first and Kilda's second. And they are running hot to start. 2-1-13. They lead Geelong, who are yet to score and haven't gone inside 50 through the opening 5 minutes. Here on Grandstand AFL, Luke Ball, Nathan Burke.
Yeah, he looks okay, Jack Higgins. Just in defence of Mitch Duncan there. It did look like Higgins was going to play on and then just pulled up. And he sort of went a bit limp too, and Duncan followed through with the tackle that made it look really bad and almost a bit slingy, to be honest. They'll probably have a bit of a look at that one, but he looks okay, Higgins. So, but it was the turnover, wasn't it? It was the kick inside. The Saints have got them pinned in their front half, 5 inside 50s to zip. It's all St Kilda, as you said, Berkey. And that dangerous kick inside to Duncan just put him under pressure a bit, and that caused a turnover. Jed Buse is off to a bit of a nervous start in his first game back. I think he's an important player for them, but already given away a free kick and got pinged holding the ball.
Back in the middle, Marshall down to Crouch, had a fumble, picked up by Stengel, he gives it to the Koning, whistle on play, free kick to St Kilda. Going back to Crouch, Jason to the centre circles, gives it to Sinclair from the centre square, bombs it inside forward 50. Bouncing ball, O'Connor attacked it hard for the Cats, did really well to slip one tackle, didn't get past the second, umpire calls play on. It's a free kick in fact for high contact. So O'Connor take the free kick inside defensive 50 for the Cats. Saints by 13.
He was lucky there. Dan Butler was the second tackler in, got him high. If he hadn't have done that, might have been holding the ball. Another shot for the Saints.
O'Connor with a long kick up to the wing, trying to find Neil. He brings it down at ground level, following up battle for the Saints. Handball out to Koning coming through. He's gang tackled. And the Saints absolutely on with their early pressure. Ian Cohen downstairs.
St Kilda Medicos have spent about 60 or 90 seconds with Jack Higgins, but they seem to be satisfied. They've stopped watching the vision. He's now sitting on the bench, just taking a couple of deep breaths.
From the ball up, clearing kick from Bruin towards half forward for the Cats. Webster collects, brought to ground by Stengel. The umpire says, I'll have it. Ball up at right half forward for Geelong. Still yet to go inside 50, 6-0.
Well, yeah, they've
St Kilda's way.
Sorry, Jess, only had one possession in their forward half, in their front half. The Cats 7 minutes in.
From the stoppage, Sinclair high up and under kick towards the outer wing. Bouncing footy out of play for a throw in between wing and half forward, and Geelong's attacking half of the ground. It is St Kilda by 13 points through 7.5 in the opening term.
It's Callum Wilkie who's got Cameron up forward for the Cats, and you've got Cordy on Hawkins. Josh Battle playing the loose player in between all of them.
Elsewhere, Sweden leading 2-0 over the Tillies in the 67th minute of the third place playoff match. Windhager picks it up off the deck for St Kilda. Gets it away to Ross. He'll kick around the city wing. Radaglia comes up. 2 hands to it. Doesn't take the mark. Following up though for St Kilda. Able to get the handball out. Releasing the players Marshall. And now coming through Owens. He can't quite get it to a teammate. Membry eventually picks it up. Radagalia's there to mop up. Handball away to O'Connor, and the Cats should be able to repel.
And a 1-2 with Holmes, and then gives it back to Holmes. His sweeping hand pass to space, close to the boundary line. Steele keeps it alive for the Saints. Membry picks up the footy, tackled by Bruin. Stoppage left half forward for St Kilda.
You can get involved, 0437 774 774. Let us know where and how you're listening tonight.
Saints by 13 from the stoppage. Smith takes possession and tackled immediately. We'll do it all again. Still at left half forward for St Kilda. They lead by 13.
So Marshall and De Koning again. Umpire puts it aloft. De Koning reaching over the top, slapping it down. Ross extracting it. Quick kick inside 50 for St Kilda. Spoiling it away, Buse for the Cats. Onto it, Sinclair. Saints back with it. Handball to Wangani Malera. Looking for a leading king. Radaglia beautifully closed him down late and punches it away.
Get your hands out, Max.
Tried to take it on the chest. Feel like I've got Hassaman behind me. I get a throw in between wing and right half forward. St Kilda doing all of the early attacking. 9 inside 50s to zip. They lead 2-1-13 to no score through the opening 9 minutes.
Marshall and De Koning again in ruck. Marshall in front position, down to Windhager. Windhager, hand pass over the head of Gresham. Tries to take possession and was ripped off the footy. No free kick. The Cats keep it alive. Bruin, hand passes to Tui inside defensive 50. Tries to snap it around the corner down the line. Good fist came from Stengel to force a contest. Ball alive at half forward for St Kilda. It spits out to Holmes. His hand pass looking for Duncan, close to the line. Hand passes defensively to Myers. Gets boot to ball, partially smothered. Ricochets to Windhager. Has a fumble. Coming through is Sinclair. Kicks Saints inside forward 50. Bounces in front of Owens, who has a couple to beat. He gets the hand pass clear to Butler from 40 out. A little dribbler towards the goal square. Radaglia, the last line of defence. Can walk it over if he wants to. He's corralled. Decides instead to hand pass to Stewart, and he then decides to just walk it over the line for a rush behind. St Kilda 2-2-14. Geelong yet to score. 10 minutes played. Opening quarter on Grandson AFL.
Probably need to explain that Hassaman reference. It might not mean as much over here, but took the hands out in front mark to WA back in the day. Orley and Berkey when he came over from Victoria. They didn't do it in Western Australia before he arrived and introduced it over there. Holmes 30 out from his defensive goal. Kicks long up to the wing.
What decade was that, Benny?
Oh, 50s, 60s, I reckon.
It took him a while.
Here's Tui in the middle of the ground towards left half forward for the Cats and spotting up Atkins. who likes to look at Myers, misses the target. Ricochets back to him. Brian pulls the trigger and misses. Misses left. Behind for the Cats to start. St Kilda 2-2-14. Geelong 1 behind. 11 minutes played in this first term.
Sinclair with a kick in, short to Battle. He hand passes to Webster from left half back and take a bounce. Spear and kick down the line finds Brad Hill, defensive of the defensive side of the wing. He kicks it, wanting to go inboard, bounces off Webster, who collects, then kicks up towards half forward to a one-on-one. Guthrie against Cooper Sharman. Ball goes to ground. It ends up with Butler, who can get on the right and snap a beauty from 40 out. And the Saints are sending an early message to the Cats under the roof. 3-2-20 to Geelong, 1 behind. 11 played. Grandson AFL, Luke Ball and Nathan Burke, your experts.
Well, there was an element of luck in it round about the wing when the ball got there from the kick out, because I'm not sure who kicked it. It might have been Hill. Went to kick it long, kicked it in the back of Jimmy Webster, and then it just popped up beautifully in front of him. Got the ball to a one-on-one inside forward 50. Cooper Sharman got involved. Really good running by Butler. He was up on the wing at one stage and got himself inside 50. So 3 goals to 1 point. And it's probably where the game's at the moment. If Brian Myers had kicked the last one, it would have been 2-1. We've certainly flattered the Cats, because at the moment it's all the Saints.
I like this on the SMS line. Ex-Bomber supporters here. Come on the Saints. Simon in Adelaide. Dan Butler with his 150th goal in AFL football. Steele hacking it out of midair. Bose marks at halfback for the Cats. Sweeps a handball into the middle for Dangerfield. He's under pressure immediately. Able to get it to Bruin. Now Myers. He'll chisel the ball towards half forward. Spots up Stengel. Looks inside 50. Hawkins a lateral lead. And he hugs it to his chest. 40 metres out. 30-degree angle right-hand side.
Well, you mentioned those attacking halfbacks from the Saints. That's an example of where they can be just caught off guard a bit and being too aggressive and charging forward. And it was well done by Jack Bowes, really, quite brilliant in terms of an intercept mark from the kick forward from the Saints. And from that play, you just saw, I think it was Wanganeen Malera, too aggressive on Stengel, who got out the back in space and found an easy hit-up target at Tom Hawkins.
The Cats need their champion goal kicker to deliver, and he can't on this occasion, just sneaking it through for a minor score. Tugging it badly. 2 behinds to start for the Cats. St Kilda 3-2-20 through the opening 13 and a half minutes.
Wanganeen Miller kicks it into Wilkie. Centre half back. Flares his kick out wide to Mason Wood, who has space, can take a bounce. Runs up to the wing. Doesn't like what he's got ahead of him, so elects to chip it laterally to Wanganeen Miller. He wheels in a nice one-hander inside the centre square, and he plays on. Has a bounce and kicks it into the player on the mark in Cameron, who hand passes to Dangerfield. His hand pass misses Atkins. Philippo can collect for the Saints. Gives it to Steele. Hacks it down the line to half forward. No one there for St Kilda. O'Connor again with a nice intercept mark at centre half back for Geelong.
Even Brownlow medalists can make mistakes. It was a horror handball from Paddy Dangerfield, which really, they had 2 players out the back, the Cats. That cost them a goal there.
Just steadying a little bit the Cats. Myers kick to Dangerfield, puts him under pressure. Tries to get a handball back to Myers, he does. Short kick to close. Cats at half forward. Away to Zach Guthrie. Eyes the goals and kicks the Cats first. Didn't they need it? They move along to 1-8 after St Kilda kicked the first 3. They're 3-2-20. Saints out by 12 points. Ben Cameron, Jess Webster, Luke Ball and Nathan Burke.
The Saints just lapsed a little bit there with their defensive efforts. They've been fantastic up until this point, but there was several opportunities to get the ball back, but they had players just standing around, and the Cats handballed their way through. Good finish by Guthrie on the run from around about 40, but that's a good lesson for the Saints. To beat the Cats, you've got to keep that defensive pressure up constantly, the whole quarter, whole game, because as soon as you don't, they're too good, they're too skillful, and they will score easily.
So Neil and Owens to contest this centre bounce in the middle. Neil with a nice tap down to Atkins. Free kick for a hold going St Kilda's way to Owens. Do it all, this kid, playing the ruck. Rolls up forward. This time can send St Kilda back inside forward 50 to a big pack. Radigalera from position, but King from the side takes a nice grab, 40 out directly in front.
Well, they certainly fell down there defensively. You cannot let a guy that tall who can leap that high, just pretty much uncontested. Nobody touched him. They just let him run and jump over the top.
No. Yep. Yeah, Vadagalea will be disappointed there. And it's a good sign for Saints supporters. Sticky fingers for Max King.
Good to have him back in this Saints side. He's already kicked one in this opening quarter. Pretty much directly in front. Comes in from 45. Straight as an arrow. King has a couple. And the Saints skip back out to an 18-point lead. 4-2-26 to Geelong, 1-2-8. 16 and a half gone. First quarter, Grandstand AFL.
That's 2 goals to Max. One was a courtesy of a 50, which came from a really good tackle. That one was a really good, strong, high mark. So, as a key forward, you can't just rely on marking the ball all the time. So he'd be pretty happy with himself having a goal from a tackle and a big, strong mark. It was a sloppy free kick in the middle of the ground. The Cats had the footy. They were about to launch a forward attack, but somebody just reached over Mitch Owen's shoulder, got him a little bit high. Wasn't a lot in it, but umpires, as soon as they see anything high these days, bang, they're very quick with a whistle.
Sinclair close matchups is fascinating. You watch down. Sinclair, when the bounce goes, runs in like he's a half forward. He's the half back.
Owens wins the tap, down towards Phillippo, beating him to it. Bruin. He loses the footy under pressure from Crouch. Coming through Atkins, shovels out a handball forward. Bruin onto it for the Cats, kicks to half forward. Wangani Malira marking it centre half back for the Saints. He'll deliver a bullet pass onto a leading Sharman's chest. He marks on the logo.
Sharman led 50 metres to get that one.
Very athletic. He's been threatening to take an absolute hanger recently. Cooper Sharman goes to Stocker in Luke Ball's old number 14. He kicks up to half forward. Remember, he can't mark. And Atkins is there for the Cats. He'll go to Myers. And quickly back down the dockside wing they go. Holmes can mark.
He chips it into the path of Cameron. He decides to soccer it off the ground. Perhaps not the best option. Goes straight to Cordy. Gives it to Sharman. Now the Saints can reload off half back. Stocker back to Sinclair on the wing. Hand passes. Put his teammate under pressure and Crouch. And now it's a turnover in the middle of Docklands. Atkins got the hand pass out and he's turned it over. Phillippo jams it on the boot. It's a high floater inside forward 50. Stewart gets back there for Geelong and takes the intercepting grab.
St Kilda by 18 as Stewart sends it out to the city wing. Myers in a little bit of space. He's able to mark. Down to Ian Cohen momentarily. Chips it over the top. And Tui able to mark. Ian Cohen.
As soon as Vadagalea was beaten in that marking contest, he ran off the ground and just headed straight down the race with the Geelong Medicos. So they are down a key defender at the moment. Geelong down a key defender. Koning has just come back on.
Tui with the turnover, kicks it straight to Jack Sinclair. He's able to mark it left half back for the Saints.
Off to a flyer, Sinclair. This will be possession number 10.
Getting a lot of it with those big calves that we learnt about last week. Jess Webster asking Jack Sinclair about that post-match.
Prerequisite for wearing number 35. Berkey.
I received a tip on that. It's a Facebook page dedicated to his calves. Meanwhile, Webster kicks into the centre of the ground and finds Wangani Miller up. He hand passes to Sinclair, running hot in this opening quarter. Ships it up towards half forward and finds Sharman, 55 out from goal. Kicks it into the pocket, looking for Membry. Takes a nice grab against College Asney. He can line up for a shot on goal, 40 out, 15 in from the boundary.
Chris Scott, sorry, Benny, it's not good enough. I thought I was yelling loud enough anyway, but for Jack Sinclair, who I think we're pretty clear about what Jack Sinclair brings to the table, Berkey. And yes, the Geelong high half forwards are a big strength of theirs, but for Jack Sinclair to run around and have 11 possessions in the first 20 minutes of this game, and Wangani Malira is the other one, it's just not good enough from Brad Close. He fell asleep there, and Sinclair just kills you by foot, and all of a sudden it's another shot for the Saints.
Membry shoots towards goal. It's going across the face and just sneaks through for a behind. St Kilda out to 19-point lead, 4-3-27 to Geelong, 1-8 as we tick into time on of this opening term.
Keep you abreast of the match between Adelaide and Sydney, of course. Significant ramifications for the top 8 in that fixture. Scores level and behind a piece through the opening 5 minutes or so. In that fixture, Geelong chipping it around inside the defensive 50. Buse in the back pocket. Nothing he likes just yet. Saints by 19. Chips it over the top. Zach Guthrie runs on and marks. Saints well set up defensively, as you expect from Ross Lyon coach teams. Guthrie goes to Stewart in the opposite pocket. He'll kick out to the wing, trying to get it to Bowes and in front. Remember, he's able to intercept Mark at high half forward for St Kilda.
He looks in board. He's called to play on now, so we'll just wind up and kick a bomb to the top of the goal square. They fly. Owens in the contest. It spills down to Smith of Geelong. Gives it to Atkins. Goes straight down the pipe, but he's turned it over to Cordy. Takes the mark pretty much in the bullseye here at Docklands and can send St Kilda forward once again. 15 inside 50s to 3. Cordy elects instead to flare the kick out wide to Windhager at left half forward.
So Windhager, 2 kicks from goal. Looks inside the Saints attacking 50. Sets it up towards the hot spot. Sharman spoils, spills to Higgins. His snap is out of bounds on the full. And Cohen on the boundary.
Yeah, the physio's just emerged from the rooms and given us the sign that Radagalier is done for the night. Parfitt now warming up. So Max King's on fire, and obviously issues now for the Geelong defence. Radagalier gone.
Big news for Geelong as Tui kicks long to the outer side, off hands. Myers squeezes a kick forward only as far as Stocker of the Saints, who hand passes to Ross and gives it to Sinclair. Chipping ball into the middle of the ground finds Steele. There's a couple of players out wide, one of them in Hill. Kicks laterally to him. Kicks up towards half forward to a one-on-one. Sharman against O'Connor. Sharman takes possession. O'Connor brings him to ground. Umpire says, I'll have it.
That's going to muck with Geelong's pre-game tactics. They wanted De Koning in the ruck. He's coming up now to do the ruck, but I'm pretty sure he's going to have to go back and change the tactics that they had at the start.
Marshall knocks it down. It comes to Holmes for the Cats. Dumps it on the boot. Their pitch is just in play, and the umpire says deliberate.
No, not enough feel for the game there. No. It's an interesting one, Berkey. Where do you plug the hole? Around the contest, around the ball with Rowan Marshall and try and stem the use. And at the moment, it's not working anyway. Or you put him on King.
Here is King taking a mark from the Stocker free kick. Just forward of the wing for St Kilda. He's everywhere in this opening term. He'll send them long inside 50 towards Owens. Guthrie puts his fist through it. Butler able to knock it down. Saints back on the footy. Higgins, slick handball. Steele, stopping, propping, kicking. King going up, or Marshall rather, can't mark. Holmes at the fall of the ball. Knocks it out to Bruin and a clearing kick.
It's a high kick into the centre of the ground to a big pack. Spills down the way to Bowes. He's set up on immediately by a couple of Saints. Ball up, 50 out from Geelong's goal. Quickly down to Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Radagalier, another hamstring, soft tissue injury for the Cats. Radagalier out with a hamstring.
Thanks, Ian. Luck for Radagalier as Saints win the clearance. Scrubby kick forward to Higgins, who can't take it cleanly. It spills to Butler, who jams it on the boot to King in the goal square against a Koning, who did well to bring it to ground. Colin Jasny picks it up, gives it to Duncan from the right back pocket, chips it to Close.
Close in the long sleeves beneath the roof.
So I think we've got to answer. De Koning goes back, and a lot of responsibility falls on the young Shannon Neal. I think it's his third game, isn't it, Benny?
It is.
To go up against Rowan Marshall.
From Jandakot,
big boy,
in WA, as the Cats will try out the city wing. At halfback, long kick up towards the wing, and Myers can mark. Now he'll take on the man on the mark. Chip a ball towards Cameron at half forward, hands to it. Wilkie able to swat it away, goes back towards Myers, who wins it again. Chips the ball forward to the sub Parfitt. Now Hawkins, he'll go inside 50, and Zach Guthrie sneaking forward again. He marks 40 metres out, slightly right of centre.
It's hard work, isn't it, Berkey, for the Cats at the moment, but just a bit of class, a bit of skill there. Brian Myers, that little 8 or 10, how many of those do we see him do every week? A little 5 to 10 metre kick to Hawkins, and that was a beautiful field kick from Hawk inside to Zach Guthrie, an unlikely goal kicker. He'll line up for his second.
Only kicked 2 goals all year, and he's played every single game. He comes in from 45 here. The drop punt is missing right. So St Kilda by 3 goals neat. 25 and a half minutes into this opening term.
inside 50s, 18-4 in favour of the Saints. That's a domination.
We did the Carlton-Melbourne game last week, but it's not dissimilar to that. I think it was 21-3 in the first quarter there. Slightly different scoreline.
Saints chip it around from the kick in. Hill flares his kick across the face of goal to Webster. He can kick it down the outer side to Wood. He's marked at left half back, who just joined us. Radagalia out with a hamstring injury for Geelong. Brendan Parfitt's come into the game. Hunter Clark, the sub for the Saints. Is Webster down the line to King, who had to bring it to ground. It goes out of play for a throw-in. Wing position out of side. St Kilda by 18 points. 26 gone opening term over in Adelaide. It is Sydney 117 leading Adelaide 1 behind halfway through that first quarter.
Geelong are the number 1 ranked opening quarter team this year. They've won 16 of them. After a slow start here, Stewart on the wing, trying to chip it to Myers. Webster right there with him. Spits back out to Stewart. Handball forward for the Cats to Close. Sticking a hand in Ross. Wins it back for the Saints. Handball to Steele. Back to Ross. Trying to get it back to Steele. Now the Cats arrive at half forward. Tui extracts it. Handball away to Myers. Looks inside 50. Usually uses it well. Not here. Bouncing ball. Stengel. Zigging, zagging. Snapping around the corner. And bouncing it through. Ryan with the assist again. And Stengel with the skillfully sublime finish. And Geelong bring it back to 2 goals. 4-3-27 St Kilda. Geelong 2-3-15, 27.5 in this opening term play.
Well, a little bit of class from their 2 small fellas. Seb Ross coming off here with a trainer next to him, so we'll get Ian to keep an eye on that one. But yeah, first of all, Myers just getting himself free, putting the ball to a really dangerous spot about 25 metres out for goal. And Stengel, he doesn't need a lot of chances. He's just so quick getting the ball to foot and put that one through for goal. So despite the domination of the Saints in general play, it's only a 2-goal lead. And if I'm the Cats, I'm probably happy at the moment, considering the way that they're playing.
No, and that man Myers is really keeping them in it, to be honest. He's up to 11 possessions and has been involved in all of their scores.
From the restart, Bruin takes possession, brought to ground immediately, stoppage inside the centre square.
And he's the small forward who's actually got a player playing on him. It should be Jimmy Webster. He should be the guy that's staying close.
Marshall with the tap down to Crouch, jams it on the boot. Hill and Cameron in a one-on-one. Hill sockers it off the ground. Getting there first will be Duncan for the Cats. And passes to Cameron at half-back. Gives it to Guthrie, has a fumble, time to regather and chips it to Bruin inside the centre square. He kicks towards Duncan. Halfway. Will kick Geelong into attack. Is it marked to Hawkins?
No.
Umpire says full time. Full time. No. Hawkins is going back on his mark. He wants to take the shot for goal and convince the umpire otherwise. But the umpire said no, the siren did sound before he completed the mark. So quarter time here at Docklands. It's a 12-point lead to St Kilda, 4-3-27 to Geelong, 2-3-15. Your goal kickers for the Saints. Max King has a couple, 1 each to Mitch Owens and Dan Butler, and singles to the Cats, Tyson Stengel and Zach Guthrie.
Don't play poker with Tom Hawkins. He was trying with the poker face late in that term. St Kilda starting the better of the 2 teams, but Geelong kicking 2 of the last 3 goals after St Kilda kicked the first 3. We'll get to your text, all of the analysis from Luke Ball and Nathan Burke next. This is Grandstand AFL.
With the ABC Listen app, you can take the footy with you wherever you go. Off to walk the dog?
Take the footy!
Going camping?
Take the footy!
Picnic in the park?
Take the footy!
ABC Sport's expert coverage of the AFL.
Incredible grab!
And the NRL. Every goal, try, mark and tackle. Live and commercial free. So whatever you're up to,
take the footy!
Take the footy with you on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Ross slays on, sends Saints into attack. Free kick, whistle on play to St Kilda with the advantage. Be paid at will. It's Owens running into an open goal and dribbles home the first. Saints on the board through their rising star. Ball goes to ground. It ends up with Butler, who can get on the right and snap a beauty from 40 out. And the Saints are sending an early message to the Cats under the roof.
Myers kick to Dangerfield, puts him under pressure. Tries to get a handball back to Myers. He does. Short kick to close. Cats at half forward. Away to Zach Guthrie. Eyes the goals and kicks the Cats first. Didn't they need it?
Yeah, the physio's just emerged from the rooms and given us the sign that Radagalier is done for the night. Parfitt now warming up. Radagalier, another hamstring, soft tissue injury for the Cats. Radagalier out with a hamstring.
Now the Cats arrive at half forward. Tui extracts it. Handball away to Myers. Looks inside 50. Usually uses it well. Not here. Bouncing ball. Stengel. Zigging, zagging. Snapping around the corner. And bouncing it through. And Stengel with the skillfully sublime finish.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
So St Kilda kicked the first 3 goals of the game. Geelong kicked 2 of the last 3. It is the Saints who lead by 12 at the first change on Grandstand AFL. And in Armidale says, "Dear Ben and Jess, enjoying your call from Docklands. Thank you. P.S. Where is Corby tonight? Is he okay? He's got a sniffle, our man Corby, so he's at home with the, what do you call it? He's got his pyjamas on, sitting at home, his feet up. Also, Rory says, loving the commentaries, the red on the Saints jumper, the same as the shade of the red traffic light or red light that indicates when you guys are on air. Rory, a blind listener. Absolutely it is. Ian Cohen downstairs.
Well, the hamstring news is not good, and Seb Ross, we understand from St Kilda, is going to be subbed out at this quarter-time break. He's out there in the middle, though, talking to his teammates, but we understand he is going to take no further part. So we'll watch for the paperwork to go in, but another hamstring potentially for Seb Ross, who only just came back from injury last week.
Thanks, Koza. Our experts here on Saturday Night Football, Luke Ball and Nathan Burke.
Well, great start by the Saints. Flying start, 18-6 inside 50, so 97 possessions each, but it just goes to show you that the efficiency of the Saints going forward compared to the Geelong overusing the ball, trying to get through the St Kilda press, their zone, their swarming defence. They have to use the ball a lot in order to get the ball inside 50, and it only takes one mistake in that lot of ball use and then the Saints go whoosh back down the other end. Look, they kicked 4 goals, which is, in hindsight, it's a really good effort by the Cats defenders to keep them to 4 goals, considering how the ball was coming in and how often it was coming in, especially in that first half of the quarter. So for me, in this quarter, the Cats need to find a more efficient way through the zone, whether it's just over the top and you've got Hawkins and you've got Cameron and these guys actually taking contested marks or bringing the ball to ground and letting their small players do their work across the half-forward line. I think that's probably a better option than trying to cut their way through or use their hands through the Saints' defence, which is pretty swarming at the moment. So maybe some few more longer balls from the Cats. And for the Saints, to me, it's doing really well. Just got to making sure that they keep choosing the good options when they go inside 50, because at the moment they're having a lot of them.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job, the Cats, in that last 10 minutes, just to steady. No, you're right, it was a real onslaught earlier. It took them 7 or 8 minutes to get a possession in their forward half, the Cats, and we spoke about the centre bounce or the clearance challenge, I guess, which has been there for the second half of the year, really. I mean, even the last month or so, we know that they're probably a man or 2 down. We haven't seen Cam Guthrie at all, really, this year, have we? Certainly in the second half of the year. So we know that Dangerfield aside, they've been flipping some younger players through there, and Bruin and Bowes and these sort of types. Atkins, who we know is tough and hard, but I thought Duncan's quarter was important, really important in terms of getting some, when they were really under the pump, getting some key disposals. He spent a fair bit of time on the ball. Stewart spent some time up around the ball as well. He had a lot of it as well when they were really under the pump. And then I spoke about Myers. He's just continued on. He's just wonderful year. I hope he's in the All-Australian squad. He really deserves to be. I thought his first quarter in a lot of ways kept the Cats in it. He was involved in every one of their scoring chains. So for all the onslaught, they hang in there, the Cats. Their experienced heads keep them in touch, and if they can just level it out around the stoppages, around the clearances this quarter, they can get themselves right back into this game.
Yeah, Hunter Clark in the middle now. The sub has been made for the Saints.
Second quarter underway. St Kilda leading by 12. Marshall wins it straight down to Hunter Clark. Can't quite gather cleanly. Dangerfield coming through for the Cats. Handball to Bruin, left then right. He'll get onto his left and kick long to half forward. And battles there for the Saints. Strong defensive mark. Handball to Stocker, put it behind him. Set him a task. Handball to Clark, met by Dangerfield in a tackle. Handball away now. Stocker again. Oh, he's tackled right on his head. And he'll get a free kick. Could have been very bad there for Liam Stocker. He'll have it in the middle.
Hand passes to Battle on the outer wing. And chip it over the top to Clark, who's the sub, who's come in for Seb Ross. He's out with a hamstring injury. And Radigalia also out of this game due to a hamstring injury. And Clark has turned it over to Bruin, who's marked a left half back for Geelong. Can send it back down the line. Hawkins the target. Got a shove from Cordy, and Battle comes in and takes the grab for St Kilda at half back. Saints by 12 points, early stages, second term.
So Battle with it. Just twirling this Sharon in his hands, the yellow Sharon beneath the roof. Saturday night football, kicks around the boundary. Membry crushes the pack, doesn't take the mark. Crouch nearly misses his handball, and eventually it's carried out by Stengel. A throw in on the wing, City side of the ground.
A shame, isn't it, that Radigalia, with the Radigalia injury, that Sam McConaughey has to go back to his natural habitat in a sense. But I really liked the matchup, or the way that was panning out in that first quarter with him in the ruck against the mobile Rowan Marshall.
Neil and Marshall. Marshall taps it down. Coming through though, Duncan for the Cats. Gives it off to O'Connor. Kick smothered. Ricochets out towards the wing. Close, can't quite gather it. Atkins can. Dumps it on the boot and gets a kick away to half forward.
Cameron from behind. Made a contest. Wilkie had a fumble, whistle on play. Free kick for high contact. In the way of St Kilda. And it will go to Jack Steele. Flares his kick out wide to Wanganeen Miller. Chips it on the 45 to Stocker. Hand pass to a running Hill. Adjacent to the centre square. Kicks long into attack. Higgins from the side got hands to it. Couldn't complete the grab. Live ball inside forward 50. Tui had a fumble. It spills to King. Gives it to Windhager. Hand passes to Owens. Tried to slip a tackle. Got the hand pass out to King. Set upon immediately by Smith. Got the hand pass out. Owens taps it on. Higgins had a fumble. Fights for it against Guthrie. Picked up by Marshall. He kicks it to Sinclair. Chips it into the pocket. And they've got a mark through Gresham. Not the required distance, so Gresham plays on, throws it on the right boot, sprays it out of bounds on the full. Free kick to Geelong in the left back pocket, St Kilda by 12.
Should have done better there, Gresham.
Could have. That was a real opportunity, wasn't it? At his best, he usually nails those. We know he hasn't had his best year. Getting out of the team a little bit. Had a good game last week at the scoreboard, but that was a really, really good chance.
Free agent at the end of the year and linked to Carlton, and whether he's at the Saints next year remains to be seen. Buse in the back pocket for the Cats, trying to pinpoint Close. On the bounce, Close carries it out.
Just a few, they need a bit of a lift out of the Cats here. Ollie Henry hasn't touched the footy yet. Isaac Smith only one possession. Half that we know has come on. Bowes one possession, Stengel only two. So too much to too few at the moment for the Cats.
St Kilda by 12 points, as it was at quarter time. Gresham going after the football, holding free kick. It'll go to Gresham. He'll have it at right half forward for the Saints.
He kicks backwards to Wanganeen Millerites. 2 kicks from goal on the outer side. Just forward of the wing. Chips it to Gresham, not the required distance. Has to hand pass back to Wanganeen Miller. This time under pressure with the kick. A high ball in the Marshall direction inside 50 once, twice. Couldn't complete the mark. And it spills over the line for a throw in. 50 around from the Saints goal. Marshall not particularly happy with the umpires on that occasion. Thought he deserved a free kick. So ball in at half forward for St Kilda. 12 points the margin. 4 minutes into this second term. Over in Adelaide, it is Sydney 4-2-26 leading Adelaide 139.
Umpire spins it back in. Marshall works his way to the front. Hands to it, coming through Crouch. How about a knock it to Marshall, who knocks it to Gresham. Floats a kick to full forward. Bouncing ball. It favours King. De Koning onto him quickly. Ball jars free. Higgins almost throws it out. Umpire lets them play. Hill onto it. Gets onto his right boot. He'll snap it towards full forward. And there to mop up is Bruin for the Cats. Little 1-2 with Stewart. And he'll chip it short to Kolajasny in the right back pocket.
That's also not 15, so he has to play on. Sends it high to the broadcast wing. Battle with the lead. Couldn't complete the mark. Henry at the fall of the ball. Slips the Battle tackle, but is eventually caught holding the ball by Liam Stocker, who wins the free kick just forward of the wing, broadcast side. Can wind up, send it back inside forward 50 for St Kilda coming out as Membry. Couldn't take the grab. Spills to Tui. Hand passes along the ground to Atkins. Sweeping hand pass to Buse. Right up against the boundary line at half back. A long kick down the line. Stocker in position A. Takes the mark and kicks backwards to Battle, who's marked on the logo. He can send it all the way back to Callum Wilkie at centre half back.
Saints by 12 points. Wilkie goes up the middle to Crouch. Elsewhere, Sweden have defeated the Matildas 2-0. So the Tillies missing out on a podium finish at the World Cup. Crouch short to Sinclair, to Hill. He'll send it out to the City wing. Mark taken out there by Windhager. Gives it off to Wangani Malera. Running by right to the 50. He'll set the Saints to full forward. And Higgins is there to juggle the mark. In his milestone match, this Energizer Bunny will go back and kick for goal.
Well done by... play
Wants to go on the left, snaps on goal and misses.
Why hurry?
Rushed it. He wants that snag in his milestone match. Couldn't get it here. 13 points St Kilda's advantage.
First score of this second quarter. As Geelong bring it in. A high kick towards the wing. Holmes. That's a great grab against Stocker in front of the interchange gates. Right in front of Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Keep an eye on Bradley Hill. He's got a heavily strapped right knee and he was complaining to medics about it after that tight work in the forward pocket. So he's not right. He's hobbling. He might get near the ball now.
And Holmes is looking a little worse for wear as he comes to the bench. Keep an eye on that, Koza. Meanwhile, Geelong in the centre of the ground. Atkins hand passes to O'Connor from half forward. A long ball into the pocket. Neal from behind. Wilkie in front position. Brought it to ground. Picked up by Wangani Miller. Gives it to Marshall. His kick is a turnover. It's marked by Smith, who can centre it inside forward 50. Duncan takes the grab, 45 out directly in front.
Good pressure, good forward pressure. It's the first time the Cats have been able to apply that and trap the ball inside 50 and get a repeat entry, force the rushed hack kick out. And well done by Isaac Smith. I mentioned before was one player that needs to get going a bit for the Cats. And this guy here has been terrific, I think, certainly in their best handful of players.
Mitch Duncan comes in from 45, shoots towards goal and guides it home. And brings the Cats to within 7 points. St Kilda 4-4-28 leading Geelong 3-3-21. 8 minutes played, second term on Grandson AFL. Luke Ball and Nathan Burke, your experts.
Yeah, lovely finish. He's just a beautiful kick, isn't he, Mitch Duncan? And as I said, the Cats, it's not free-flowing yet. That was a lovely kick inside that opened up the game, wasn't it? But even then, they didn't have that run off half-back. It was still a little bit... it just wasn't as sort of free-flowing as we're used to seeing for them. But they're just hanging in there. They're finding a way to hang in there, and they get themselves back to really within a kick. And there's so much upside for some of their players as well. So credit to them. Just looking at a replay there of Paddy Dangerfield caught one in the throat. He might be a little bit sore as well.
I reckon he's a real lucky one, Mitch Duncan. Premiership in 2011 and 2012. I'll explain it in a moment. Because Steele's bursting out of the middle, kicking the Saints inside 50. Memory can't mark at the Fall Hill. Handball to King, back to Steele, snaps it towards full forward. Sharman juggles it down. Just controlling it back in with his right hand as he falls to ground. He's got it as good as directly in front, 20 out.
Good running out of the middle by Jack Steele. He got the clearance out of the middle and then got the next handball just on the 50-metre line. So it's a good 50-metre sprint to 2 possessions to get the ball to a really dangerous spot.
Cooper Sharman, mid-season draft pickup from a couple of years ago out of South Australia, 20 out, keeps it low, drills it through. The Saints respond to the early second quarter challenge from the Cats. Back out by 13, 5-4-34 plays 3-3-21. 9.5 into the second. Luke Ball, Nathan Burke.
Yeah, good quick response, good call Berkey. The centre clearance work. Again, you just feel like that's going to play a part as this game goes on. The athletic, isn't he, Cooper Sharman? A couple of times we've already called tonight some of his searching leads, and he's Jake Kolajasny's really got his hands full tonight. It's a good matchup. Good overhead there too, and a lovely efficient kicking action too, Cooper Sharman.
Just on Mitch Duncan, 2011 Premiership, 2022 Premiership. he gets the two generations of premiership reunions. He has sort of...
I thought you said 2012. Yeah, I was going to say, explain that one. Sorry, 23?
No, 2011 and 2022.
23. Him and Joel Selwood, 12 years apart. They're the two.
From the restart, Clark with the clearing kick for St Kilda up towards half forward. Off hands, chasing after it is Sharman. And Gather just forward of the wing. A tumbling kick inside the arc is wayward.
Oh, he's going to play it.
It's insufficient intent.
That is just ridiculous.
Free kick to Geelong.
Just kicked it.
Stewart kicks inboard to Duncan, who's marked at centre half back. Chips it forward to Bowes inside the centre square. Gives it back to Duncan, who kept running. Then he hand passes into the middle for Smith who had a fumble. Duncan picks it up, gives it back to Smith from half forward. Kicks a long kick into the arc. Tui had a fumble, couldn't complete the mark. The ball ricochets out of play for a throw-in. 20 around from Geelong's goal. St Kilda by 13.
That might be the worst decision I've ever seen. He was trying to kick it to the forward inside 50 and missed him and it tumbled out of bounds.
Yep. He was thought he was under more pressure than he was.
From the throw-in, and swatted away back towards goal for the Cats. Cordy there to clean up for St Kilda. Gets it away to Windhager, who will kick out to the wing. A good kick for Butler. Butler backward of the wing on the City side of the ground.
Lazy.
Has a little bit of a brain fade. Kicks it into the man on the mark. Myers swoops onto it here for the Cats. Kicks into the pocket and Stengel marks. Left forward pocket. Hard up against the boundary line for the Cats.
It was just a missed handball. He had the Saints player running past. He tried to lob one over the top and just completely missed him. All the Saints players were shooting forward. Left a big hole in the back line for Stengel.
Went into the wrong hands too, didn't it? With Mr. Goal assist himself.
Stengel to make St Kilda pay for their sloppiness. Stengel bending it a little too much. Misses narrow side. Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Good news for Cats fans. Max Holmes have worked on his right ankle for the last 5 minutes. He's had it strapped up. Looks like he's ready to go back on though.
Thanks, Ian. It's St Kilda from the kick in. Sinclair short to Webster, who kicks back to Sinclair, top of the defensive goal square. Chips it to the other pocket and finds Wilkie. And that is out of bounds on the full. A couple of Scaleros creeping in for St Kilda. Free kick to Geelong. Left half forward, Isaac Smith can chip in board to Duncan. Started promisingly for the Cats. It's 2 kicks from goal. Saints by 12 points. Geelong 1 goal apiece, in this second term. Duncan short to Bowes.
Bowes just looking at a pretty congested attacking 50. Now he'll veer out to the right and try and chisel it into the path of the Hawk. Tom Hawkins, too strong. Hands outstretched, he marks 40 out, tight angle in the left forward pocket.
Where he was going, do you think? I think it might have been a reasonably smart kick in the end from Jack Bowes. Just when there was 32 players in the forward 50 for the Cats, almost ahead of him, he just pulled the kick, shaped to go right and kick it to the fat side. Yeah, we've seen Tom Hawkins do that so often. Pretty smart kick, I reckon.
Couple of weeks out with the hamstring issue. Tom Hawkins, so reliable on the set shot. And he brings the Cats right back into this match. It's back to 1 goal St Kilda's lead. 5-4-34 plays 4-4-28. 14 minutes into the second on Grandstand AFL. Luke Ball, Nathan Burke.
It's better by the Cats because the last couple of times the Saints have come out of their back line, the Saints have actually won the ball and gone back at them several times. Previous to that, in the first quarter, they were able to take it from their defensive 50 all the way up the other end of the ground. So far better defensive effort by the Cats, which is now allowing them to play better offense and get those repeat entries.
So over at Adelaide, it is a 18-point lead to Sydney at quarter time. That game has ramifications for both St Kilda and Geelong. They'll be hoping Adelaide gets up. Meanwhile, De Koning clears it from the centre for the Cats. Cameron hand passes to Myers. He's turned it over to Hunter inside defensive 50 for St Kilda. Flares his kick out wide to Windhager, who takes the diving mark. Windhager kicks to Wilkie at half back and then hand passes to Stocker. Shank off the boot, straight to Cameron inside the centre square. He can kick the Cats back into attack. Cordy back with a flight. Takes the intercepting grab for Saints.
Yeah, poor kick. Another mistake from the Saints coming out of the back line. Should have made them pay. He's had a quiet night to this point, Jeremy Cameron. Another one that needs to lift for the Cats.
They're a little more safe this time. Wood just chipping it to Membry. Backward of the logo. Dock side of the ground. St Kilda leading by 6 points.
4 possessions for Jeremy Cameron.
Membry goes long towards half forward. De Koning juggles it. Good defensive mark for the Cats. Started the night in the ruck. He's been swung back with Radigalia subbed out with the hamstring issue in the opening term. First time all year that both subs were made before the start of the second term, believe it or not. The Koning's kick forward of the wing here for the Cats. They come away with it through close to Dangerfield on the burst. Kick into the pocket, bouncing ball for Stengel. There's Cordy, able to mop up for the Saints. Handball away to Stocker, who continues to fight after it. Spits out to Crouch, back to Cordy, back to Clark, and a kick to the wing.
It's a good one, hits Membry on the chest in front of the interchange gates. Saints by 6, Membry. Searching kick to half forward, finds Higgins. Hand passes to Owens from half forward, chipping ball into the path of King. He's grabbed at 48, out from home, directly in front.
You can go back to Hunter Clark coming out of the back line there. That was outstanding kick. He was under pressure. He really only had one step. He looked up. He not only found Membry, but he put the ball to Membry's advantage, and then away they went after that. Most players in that position would just sort of bang it on their foot and get it forward, but really good composure and school there by Hunter Clark.
Max King will start his run up from inside the centre square. Guthrie stands the mark for Geelong. A slow approach to Max King. Already got 2 goals from 51 out. Bangs it towards goal. It's away to the left. St Kilda by 7. 5-5-35 to Geelong. 4-4-28. 17 played second term on Grandstand AFL.
Got the distance on that. He kicked it from 52 and it went about 6 rows back.
Sydney leading by 16 points early in the second. At the Adelaide Oval, a kick up to the wing over the pack and out of play. A throw in alongside the interchange gates. Sorry, that should be 18.
Well, I said 18 before and I was like, have I got... Did I not add correctly? Math is not my strong suit.
My maths was out, I apologise. Throwing on the logo. Marshall tapping it straight down towards Higgins. He shovels it through the legs of Dangerfield. Filippo able to pick it up. It goes back to Dangerfield off his handball though. And everyone watches it go out. To number 35's Dangerfield. And Sinclair right there to watch it out. 7 points, St Kilda's lead, I'm sure of that, Jess. 17 minutes into this second term.
Thank the champion data screen right in front of us to tell us the margin. Ball flung back into play. Marshall in front position against Neil in the ruck. Butler gets his hands to it. Going to take clean possession, picked up by Atkins, who gives it to Dangerfield. Tackled and stripped of the footy by Crouch. Holding the ball. Free kick to St Kilda on the broadcast wing. They lead by 7. Crouch chips it to Hunter, the sub, who gives it to Butler. Just gets the kick away and finds Marshall. The diving attempt and reels in the mark. 45 from home, and he wants to continue it to King in the pocket, who offered a nice lead. This time he's about 10 metres closer, but a tougher angle. 15 in from the boundary in the left forward pocket.
Moved the ball pretty well tonight, the Saints. Berkey, I think just both by hand and by foot. Had some good overlap run at times, good transition footy, but just being able to shift the angle precise by foot. 20, 25 metre kicks. Uncontested marks all the way up to the shot on goal.
Max King from the pocket for goal number 3. And the Saints fans tell the story. St Kilda's lead back out to 13 points. 6-5-41 to Geelong, 4-4-28. 19 minutes played second term on Grandstand AFL. Luke Ball and Nathan Burke are experts.
That'll do.
Really good finish there by Max King, and it was an important finish too, because you get the feeling that this is not going to be a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. It's going to be close all the way through. The last goal kick down the other end was by Tommy Hawkins in a very similar spot to what Max King had that shot just then, and Tommy put his through, so Max needed to put his through up the other end. So if you get a half a chance, it's going to be important coming down to the wire, because I think this one's going to be close all the way through.
Sydney leading by 30 at the Adelaide Oval. Max King, the forward line looks different. with Max King in it.
Right memory too. He's been getting up the ground today too. He's been getting the ball around the wing and making some good choices going forward. So that's a good combination.
Marshall taking it out of the ruck, getting it on his left boot, tumbling the Saints to half forward. Coming after it, Stewart for the Cats. He'll kick to the wing. Mark taken, or not, by Myers. Straight through his hands. Sinclair following up. He inadvertently soccers it out, and I'm surprised they say throw it in on the wing.
Might as well just bring in the last touch rule, I think.
Lasso rule between the arcs.
Stupid rule.
Is there a rule you enjoy?
Throw in on the wing.
No, I'm thinking.
Marshall soccers it.
Not that one.
Inadvertently out of bounds on the full, so Geelong will get it. Right on the centre line of the City wing.
I'll get back to you, Jess.
Have a think about it, Berkey. Mitch Duncan kicks up towards half forward. Neal with the fist brings it down to Marshall, to Clark, and now to Sinclair, to Hill and Wood, all by hand from half back. Kick it laterally to Cooper Sharman. It's marked inside the centre square. It's Kilda by 13. Sharman towards half forward. It's not a great kick. And Guthrie back with the flight. Takes the grab for Geelong and kicks it to Bruin, who's marked centre half back.
Yeah, young fella just got himself in trouble there. In not only one mind, he was in about 3 minds of what to do, and the last one was not a good choice.
Bruin away to De Koning, and De Koning out towards the City wing. Now pointed Dangerfield by Steele. Saints with it. Chain of handballs on the wing. Crouch. And a little bit of a cul-de-sac. Goes to Marshall. Wanganeen Malera. Forward handball to half forward. Steele dumps it on the boot. Centering ball. Getting back O'Connor. Defensive mark for the Cats. 40 out from their goal. They lead by 13 points, St Kilda. 22 minutes played in this second.
Connor to Kolajasny. Just the required distance to Duncan. Now kicks to Guthrie. Takes a strong grab at half back for the Cats.
Cooper Sharman looks like he's done an ankle or Achilles there. Grabbed it straight away.
Looking a little proppy as Guthrie kicks up towards Duncan on the wing, off hands. Battle collects for St Kilda as Duncan is dumped behind play. Gives it to Sinclair and now to Clark from against the boundary line. And kicks up towards Higgins, who got a free kick. He had 3 to beat. Kolajasny took the grab, but it's a free kick to Higgins. Can line up for a shot on goal. 45 out, 45-degree angle to the left as Cooper Sharman coming to the bench for St Kilda. We'll quickly get down to Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Yeah, they're just checking that left foot there, either, as Nathan Burke said, either an Achilles or potentially an ankle. Looks like they're going to take him straight down to the rooms just ahead of half-time. So Cooper Sharman, left-hand foot.
Thanks, Koza. Sorry, we'll just watch this Higgins kick. The milestone man, he comes in from 45. It's going to get close. It's just to the near side for a minor.
Left-hand foot.
The old left-hand foot, Koza.
Yeah, my medical degree just fell out, I think. There, the left-hand side of his body. It is the foot on the left-hand side of his body.
Saw the replay, just twisted his ankle a bit on the way down there, Cooper Sharman. Looked too bad. Might re-strap it and get him back out there.
He did point when he came to the bench to the top of the foot, so hopefully not that dreaded mid-foot injury which takes so long to recover from. Saints by 14. They get out by as much as 19 after they kicked the first 3 of the game.
You know what was weird about that is I actually kind of understood what Ian meant.
Kick into the middle of the ground. Kolajasny drops it. Now the Saints have the numbers. Higgins to Hill to Sinclair to Battle. Quickly back the other way, the Saints. Membry marks at half forward. King offers into the pocket. Kick doesn't find him. Gathers on the bounce. He's corralled by a couple of Cats and just pinpoints Brad Hill.
Players in the middle if he wants it.
He can do it any way you want it, Max King. Kick them, assist them, goal kicking, field kicking. Hill just needs to finish the work. Turned his back on a few options.
He did. He had a couple of options in the middle there. He was pretty keen to have a shot. That's okay, as long as you put it through.
Brad Hill played in a great rivalry against the Cats when he was at the Hawks. He tugs this left. 15 points, St Kilda's advantage, and just burning a few chances at the moment.
Make the point that it's 14 to 2 free kicks. We're almost at half time, and the Cats have had 2 free kicks. And I don't know whether a team only deserves 2 free kicks for the whole half.
Cats from the kick in, work it to Holmes at half back, who chips short to Guthrie. On the outer side of Docklands. A good crowd in tonight. Putting in a line for these two sides. Guthrie almost shanks it down the line, gets past a few, and Henry's out the back, can collect. Hand pass to Close, gives it to Parf at the sub. Right foot snap inside forward 50. Not a great one as Windhager, standing in the hole, takes the intercepting grab.
Windhager will chip it short. The other, Jay Webster, involved tonight. Webster will chip it short to Wanganeen Malira. St Kilda clinging on to that 15-point lead. They led by 12 at quarter time. Wanganeen Malira, low ball out towards the wing. Over the head of Parfitt at the back. Marshall there to row for St Kilda. Handball knocked down. Now he tries to follow up at ground level. Crouch gets involved. Oh, goes through the legs there of Bowes and releases St Kilda. Gresham's handball chopped off by Guthrie. Handball back to Stewart. Geelong under pressure at halfback. Did he get a handball away? Onto it, O'Connor. He's tackled and taken high. Free kick.
Silly by Gresham. No need to do it. With the ball up, you just dive.
Oh, it's been reversed. So Gresham was shoved over. He'll get the free kick. It wasn't returned on the full. They wanted 50. Not long left in the quarter. He'll send it into the pocket for Marshall. Big row. Right on the siren. Or importantly, just before it.
Oh, it could be a big turnover decision.
Coach killer.
Yep.
I missed who it was. Who was the offending party?
Sure.
Stay away from Chris Scott.
Yep.
Whoever you are.
I think Atkins.
Tom Atkins.
It was done by Gresham to jump into the pack and give away the free kick, but done by Atkins to reverse it.
After the halftime siren, what a moment this is. Rowan Marshall, tight angle, right forward pocket, shanks it. Behind. St Kilda will lead by 16 at the main break as they try to get themselves into position to play finals. We think a win tonight might be enough, but that changed a little on the back of GWS and their enormous victory over Essendon. If you missed it, GWS winning by 126 points over Essendon, which saw them make up 7 percentage points, and means that even if St Kilda win tonight and lose next week up at the Gabba, they can technically still miss the finals. But they need to win tonight. They know that. And they lead by 16. 6-8-44 plays 4-4-28 at the half. The goal kickers, Max King, their main man, with 3. And then singles to Sharman, Butler and Owens. While for Geelong, just the singles, Zach Guthrie, Stengel, Duncan and Hawkins. Nathan Burke, the Australian Football Hall of Famer, and Luke Ball, Collingwood Premiership player. How did you see the first half?
Well, it was impressive from the Saints. I think they just let the Cats off the hook there, Berkey, in that last 5 minutes. The Cats did a good job, like we spoke about before quarter time, after it was all St Kilda in that first 20 minutes of the first quarter, just to get the momentum back on their terms a little bit, and just steady the ship. But it was a bit more of the same for the majority of that quarter from the Saints' point of view. It's really hard yakka for the Cats, I think, in terms of moving the ball tonight and getting decent shots at goal. We've spoken about Cameron, no impact at the moment. Hawkins kicked the goal that quarter, but it's been pretty slim pickings for the Cats, certainly tall forwards or mid-sized forwards, and that's been largely due to the Saints' pressure, really. So they've looked on. They've certainly brought their A game and their intensity tonight, as you would expect, given, as you mentioned, Ben, they're playing to keep themselves in the 8. Really, we know they're in there at the moment, so that rule about possession, they don't want to give that up. So pretty impressive, I think, Bergie, from the Saints' point of view, but just let the Cats off the hook in the last 5 to 6 minutes of that quarter, just with some sloppy ball use coming out of half-back, I think, that let the Cats in terms of some shots at goal. And then even a couple of ones, even that one that King had to kick back in to Brad Hill, that should have been a lace-out kick to King on the chest. He had 20 metres on his opponent. He should have been having the shot at goal. So, and then Marshall there not capitalising on what was a mistake from Tom Atkins and that turnover at that free kick. So certainly the Saints making the play in this one, but Cats are absolutely close enough if they can get going in the second half.
Yeah, interesting. First quarter was 97 possessions each. In that quarter, the Saints had 114, and the Cats only had 73. Yet, with that 73, they went inside 59 times. So, far more efficient with their ball use that quarter than they were in that first quarter when they only went inside 6 times. So, that was better for the Cats. I think they were looking longer. They were trying to get the ball over the top of that Saints really zoning press that they have around the ball carrier. So every time they've tried to run and handball through the ball carrier, it's come unstuck. So they've got to get the ball on their foot far better. Give Hawkins, Cameron, who's been very, very quiet, got to give these guys chances up around the half-forward line and let Stengel and Close and Brian Myers do their work, but it's just not coming down there enough. So hopefully for the Cats, they've figured out a way of actually getting the ball forward a little bit better through that zone. But for the Saints, as you mentioned, Morley, they were just a little bit wasteful going inside 50, missed a couple of targets, had some shots. The last one, Hill turned his back. There was 2 players in the corridor. He probably should have turned around quickly and hit. Would have been an easier shot for goal. Clearances are 16-9 in favour of the Saints, and I think a lot of that's coming from Rowan Marshall. He's pretty much putting the ball wherever he wants in the ruck. So I think the Cats need to figure out something to do there. And quite simply, if you're not getting your hand on the ball in the ruck, then you're just making it a 3-on-3 at every bounce. So you just got to man up your opponent and beat that opponent. And I'm not sure whether the Cats, Dangerfield and those guys generally know how to do that. They've got a very attacking bent in their mindset, so they're going to have to go defensive and at least even that out if they're going to keep themselves in this game.
Oh, I thought you guys told us that either if you're decisively winning the tap or decisively losing the tap, it's easy. It's the grey area that's difficult.
It is a little bit.
Is it only maybe if your attitude's right and you're willing to go defensive and lock down if you know you're losing it?
Yeah, when you go to a stoppage, the first thing you say to yourself, is my ruck going to get his hand to it or not going to get his hand to it? And then everything else sort of folds out from there.
Yeah.
And if you make the wrong choice and you start trying to read your bloke's tap and they're not getting their hand to it, that's when you muck everything up completely. So I think the Cats need to make really good choices.
The Cats have had midfield and clearance issues all year, though, certainly for the second half of the year, really. And I mean, Dangerfield was a one-man show last week. I think he had 11 clearances, didn't he? He's been quiet tonight, only the 1 kick, 7 possessions. I mentioned Duncan's game. I think he's been certainly up there with the best of the Cats, along with Myers and Stewart. But Holmes has been okay. He's at 12 possessions, so that we know that they really want to turn him into a midfielder. And Bruin's done some nice things as well, but they do still seem to be light on around the middle of the ground. So the ruckman's certainly one thing, but when Dangerfield's down around the clearance, they do seem to lack some cattle around there. And Atkins is another one who's tried pretty hard. For me, Myers aside, their small forwards have struggled tonight. Close 5 possessions. And when you consider Sinclair's impact on the game and Wanganeen Malira's impact on the game in terms of the Saints halfbacks, Butler even, that's really an area. I've no doubt that Chris Scott will be going to those players. Ollie Henry's only had 1 handball for the game. Tyson Stengel's only had 3 possessions.
Isaac Smith, 5.
And Smith only 5. So, there's some players there that really do need to get going and get a decent rev up at half-time. They've been good players for the Cats for long periods of time, and certainly this year as well. But throw Cameron in there as well. They're not getting enough out of these guys tonight. Too much has been left to far too few. If that continues, the Saints, with their even contribution across the ground, will go on and win this game pretty comfortably.
Just a quick little sidebar. Mark Murphy on the show that Corbin and I do, Corbin and Ben, every Monday and Thursday. Get it where you get
what a show.
All good podcasts.
Shameless plug.
Some bad ones too.
Absolutely. He explained that they had code names at Carlton where they named the 6, 12, 3, 9 code names after great Carlton champions that have worn those numbers. So 6 was Dora, after John Dorotich. They called the Shack, which was to the back hip, because that was Shakira, hips don't lie. Do you guys have any code names back in the day at St Kilda for your hit zones?
Didn't need to, mate. Just use the clock face, and even if they knew where we were hitting it, they still had to stop us, mate, and get it off us. Yeah. Don't get too cute.
Unless you ruck with Laser Vidovic, you'd say before every bounce, you'd say, Laser, where we're hitting it, where we're going. And his standard answer was, I'm just going to run and smash straight into him, so it's going to come straight down. That was his.
Or belted forward. Nothing wrong with that.
Belted forward, I'm going to smash into him, and it's going to come straight down. And so we knew where it was going.
Your latter years, my early years, Grant Thomas didn't rate ruckman, so we had Jason Blake in the ruck, so we didn't have to worry about that. We just roved off the opposition ruckman. That's right.
That's not very nice for
that's
old
fine.
Blakey.
No, not at all. Blakey. It was perfect for him. He just became a ruck rover as well.
I did laugh. Murph told us that, and he said at the end, I hope Carlton still aren't using those same code names. And we realised Matty Cruiser obviously is the ruck coach at Carlton, so there's every chance they still are. Lots of text rolling through. Great game from Jack Sinclair. One fan or one listener here is not too happy with the free kicks. How can only one side get two free kicks in a half a footy and the other side nearly 20?
Yeah, I've actually noticed it a bit tonight. I'm certainly not one to dwell on that sort of stuff, Berkey, but I think there's been a few that the Saints got that would ticky touch, and then a few that the Cats haven't got. And when that happens, that's when it starts to add up a bit.
It's all those little tap on the shoulders and stuff like that. Sometimes the umpires pay them, sometimes they don't. I think those ones have certainly gone the Saints' way.
Yeah. John, Sam, Coco and Bob are listening in. Appreciate that. Great to have you guys with us. And I think that's about it. Or one of your friends has texted in some kind of code, Borley, as well. Not too sure about that. Something about the start of the Collingwood Football Club as we know it. I'm not sure.
We're at the Grace Darling Hotel this afternoon. I've come straight from there from a mate's birthday. So what's that? It's probably been drinking for another couple of hours since I left. So
was it an old Collingwood champion?
The Grace Darling Hotel is credited for the founding of the Collingwood Football Club.
Right,
late 1880s.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
The basement, the beautiful bluestone building, one of Victoria's oldest pubs.
And it has memorabilia.
Smith Street, Collingwood.
Yeah, wow.
And there's a little basement there that's credited for the signing of the Collingwood Footy Club.
There you have it. You learn something new every day. Yes. There we go. Half time.
Supporter too. That'll be Baz from Glen Iris. He's a mad Collingwood supporter.
Good on you, Baz. St Kilda leading by 16 points over Geelong. 6-8-44 plays 4-4-28. Time for us to pause and get the latest from the ABC newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has urged Labor Party members to campaign like they've never campaigned before in an effort to have a yes vote in the Voice to Parliament referendum. Australians will vote this year on whether a Voice to Parliament, which would act as an independent advisory body for First Nations people, should be enshrined in the Constitution. Mr Albanese used the last day of the party's national conference in Brisbane to rally party faithful. He told those at the conference that they all need to work hard in the lead up to the vote.
Winning this referendum will depend on the conversations you have, the calls you make, the doors you knock on, the people you reach. There is no more powerful force for change than our great Labor movement.
An advocacy body for women in sport says it's gratifying to see more support for women's sport extend beyond cheering for Australia at the Women's World Cup. Off the back of the Matildas' success, the federal government has announced a $200 million grants program to support grassroots sporting programs. Jessica Ivers from Women's Sport Australia has welcomed the announcement.
It's almost a nice validation, I think, for a lot of people to be like, we've been telling you this for so long, and now finally everyone else is seeing it. And it's been so nice to see how everyone has just been caught up in the Matildas fever.
And in news just in now, Australia has missed out on third place at the Women's World Cup. The full-time whistle has just gone. They've gone down to Sweden at Brisbane's Lang Park this evening. The Swedes scored a goal in each half of the match to win 2-0 before another capacity crowd. The result means the Matildas finished fourth in this year's tournament, which is Australia's highest ever placing. Premier Daniel Andrews says the $380 million compensation payout for cancelling the 2026 Commonwealth Games in regional Victoria is the best outcome that could be achieved in the circumstances. Following negotiations involving mediators, the Victorian government late last night agreed to pay the sum to the Commonwealth Games Federation, Commonwealth Games Federation Partnerships and Commonwealth Games Australia. Last month, the government decided to withdraw hosting the event in regional Victoria when it realised the bill would likely skyrocket to be at least $6 billion. Mr Andrews says the matter is now finalised with all parties.
I acknowledge that this has been a very challenging time for them, very disappointing for them as well as athletes and many other people, but the fact that they were able to engage in good faith in these important negotiations and get a settlement is a good outcome for everybody involved.
A man has faced court charged over a murder on the Gold Coast. Alexandria Utting reports.
Emergency services were called to a tavern at Robina on Thursday night after 26-year-old Dylan McPadden was stabbed in the chest. He died in hospital a short time later. Police yesterday raided a Mermaid Beach motel and charged 26-year-old Tyler Remy Malcolm Hales with murder. His case was mentioned in the Southport Magistrates Court today. He's been remanded in custody to reappear in court later this month.
China state media are reporting that Chinese forces have begun military exercises around Taiwan. Here's East Asia correspondent Kathleen Calderwood.
This comes only days after the Taiwanese Vice President William Lai transited through the US twice on his way to and from the Paraguayan president's inauguration. China claims the self-governed island of Taiwan as its territory and hasn't ruled out the use of force to achieve reunification. Chinese state news agency Xinhua is reporting the People's Liberation Army has launched air and sea exercises around the island. A spokesperson is quoted saying it serves as a warning to so-called Taiwan independence separatists colluding with foreign parties. Taiwan's Ministry of National Defence says they will send troops to respond and protect the island democracy.
Questions are being raised in Britain about whether a nurse who killed 7 newborn babies and tried to kill another 6 could have been stopped. Lucy Letby was found guilty after a 10-month trial in Manchester in the north of England. This mother describes how one of her twins was killed by Letby.
He had blood around his mouth. And Lucy was there, but faffing about, not doing anything. Lucy said, oh, don't worry, and she told me to go back to the ward.
In AFL, Greater Western Sydney has moved into the top 8 with a thrashing of Essendon. The final score, 162-36. This is ABC News.
Journalists and politicians are natural enemies in some ways, but when you break bread with the enemy, it's surprising what you can find out. I'm Annabelle Crabb, and I'm back with a brand new season of Kitchen Cabinet. Here's the deal. I invite myself to a prominent politician's house, they cook me dinner, and I bring dessert. I'm polite, but I'm nosy. Join me for all new Kitchen Cabinet, Tuesday nights on ABC TV and streaming on ABC iView.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Wangadeen Miller gives it to Marshall. His kick is a turnover. It's marked by Smith. He can centre it inside forward 50. Duncan takes the grab, 45 out directly in front. Mitch Duncan comes in from 45, shoots towards goal and guides it home.
Steele's bursting out of the middle, kicking the Saints inside 50. Membry can't mark at the Fall Hill. Handball to King, back to Steele, snaps it towards full forward. Sharman juggles it down. 20 out, keeps it low, drills it through. The Saints respond to the early second quarter challenge from the Cats. Those just looking at a pretty congested attacking 50. Now he'll veer out to the right and try and chisel it into the path of the Hawk. Tom Hawkins, too strong. Hands outstretched, he marks 40 out, tight angle. Couple of weeks out with the hamstring issue. Tom Hawkins, so reliable on the set shot. And he brings the Cats right back into this match.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
And now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Great to have you with us on Grandstand AFL. St Kilda leading by 16 points at the main break. 6-8-44, plays 4-4-28. As Geelong try to win to keep their season and premiership defence alive. St Kilda trying to win to go mightily close to securing their place in the finals this season. There's still a chance they could miss if they win tonight, but would be very unlucky in doing so. Luke Ball, the Collingwood Premiership player, Nathan Burke, the Australian Football Hall of Famer, are with us. What are you expecting in the second half, and what do you want to see from both teams?
Saints have got to keep the pressure up. If they lapse their pressure at any stage for any period, we know the Cats can score quickly. You wouldn't expect Jeremy Cameron to have another 5 possessions in the second half. So if they lapse at all, the Cats can score very, very heavily and quickly. For the Cats, I don't want to see them get too cute. They're going to give Cameron and Hawkins and these guys every opportunity. So get the ball long, deep, high, whatever it takes, and get it down to them as quickly as they can.
Yeah, they need a lift, don't they? We spoke about it at half-time. They need a lift from several of their experience, but also quality class players as well. And you would expect that. I think you're right, Berkey. I mean, Jeremy Cameron, we know how highly we rate him. He just hasn't had any impact or influence on the game whatsoever. For me, it's a work rate thing for him. Just he's got to get to more contests. We know he has the ability to get up the ground a fair bit and do that when he hasn't had much of the footy. He's done that at times tonight, but just hasn't been able to impact at all. So credit to Cal Wilkie for the role he's played on him. But Jezza needs to get to work here if the Cats are any chance.
There's a great question for you on the SMS line from John in Melbourne. He says, ask Berkey whether he's in favour of players bringing their young families out with the team when celebrating a game's record. What about coming onto the field with your pet dog? Like in North Queensland, Jason Tamalolo did to celebrate his 250th.
300th or retiring.
Yep. So no 250, no 200, no 150. No kids.
Agree.
No.
I don't mind it from you, Berkey. Here we go, second half underway. St Kilda by 16 points. You're with Jess Webster on Grandstand AFL.
Marshall and Neal, contestant ruck. Chasing after it is Dangerfield. Didn't get a kind bounce. It's picked up by Clark of St Kilda, who gives it to Sinclair. Has had a dominating first half for the Saints. Bullets a pass to half forward. Good grab from Gresham. Right on the edge of the centre square. Can wheel and go. Kicks a long ball into the pocket. Mason Wood with a big fly. A spectacular leap from Mason Wood across the face of the pack. Back with the flight. All sorts of courage shown in that. He will line up for a shot on goal, 25 out, 45-degree angle to the right.
Heads to finish. That was an impressive mark. You had King, you had Mitch Owens, you had DeConning coming the other way, and super mark.
Just drifting down from the wing. He had a look too. He knew what was coming and committed himself and his body and then take his eyes off it. Could have knocked the wind out of him too. He landed on the ball, so let's see how he goes here.
A mark that deserves a goal. And he can't deliver, Mason Wood. Kicks off the second half with a behind St Kilda's lead of 17 points, 6-9-45 to Geelong 4-4-28.
Good news, Cooper Sharman is back out there. So that ankle injury obviously jabbed or taped at half-time.
Zach Guthrie just reading the field of play of an extra ball. Now he's going to look up the middle. That's where he goes, long into the middle of the ground. Big Rowan Marshall marks for St Kilda in the middle of Docklands. Now he looks inside 50 for a leading King in front, Zach Guthrie. He's able to just pop in and take the intercept mark. 40 out from his defensive goal for the Cats.
Chip short, just the required distance to O'Connor. There's his kick out wide to Collie Jasny, who's marked at right half back.
Obviously a set play by the Cats there. First kick in after half-time. Let's just go bang straight down the middle, but Rowan Marshall was onto it.
Jasny short to Mitch Duncan. Can wind up and send it long down the line to a contest. Tui against Webster. Webster with the fist, brought it to ground. Tui has a go at ground level. Gets the hand pass out, but has run out of room, and it'll be thrown in on boundary side. Out of side, let's head downstairs to Ian Cohen.
I'm sitting behind a 3-man Geelong bench at the moment, and I think it's Brad Close that may not have come out at half-time. We're just scanning the field at the moment.
Yeah, it is close.
I believe Close is not out there.
Yep, absolutely right. We'll wait and find out what's wrong with Brad Close. Bruin shovels a handball forward. Dangerfield bursts onto it for the Cats. Handball inside 50. Great gather by Myers. Quick kick. Charged down by the Saints. Ricochets away to Henry. Now handball to Cameron. He's tackled. And the Saints will clear through Steele. His kick, though, will be marked by Buse. At left half forward, he'll chip it short. Spot up Izzy Smith. Smith at left half forward. 17 points, St Kilda's advantage. 3 minutes into the third. Wheeling round to the left goes Izzy Smith, pulling his kick to full forward. Henry nearly landing heavily, can't mark. And they'll pile on top, a ball up. At full forward here for the Cats. St Kilda by 17, 3 minutes into the third term.
Stoppage, Wood, and passes to Windhager. Last line of defence, kicks out wide, looking for Sharman, but using the body well is called Jasny. Takes the intercepting grab. Kick short to Tui. 55 out at right half forward. Saints by 17, early stages, third term. Crowded forward 50. Tui spears the kick into the pocket, looking for Cameron. It's off hands. Crouch collects, jams it on the boot, and it's landed fortuitously into the lap of Cooper Sharman.
Good defending by the Saints. They had Callum Wilkie in front of Cameron and Ryan Marshall behind, so they tried to dart low one over the top, and Wilkie got back in time.
Sharman wants to switch it. Saints will try the dock side of the ground. Wilkie moves it on to Stocker, who goes for a little run. Down the dock's wing, takes a bounce, stabs it short. Steel marks, looks to half forward. Owens can take it on his chest. Handball away to Wood. Breaks the arc of 50. Pulls it back centrally. Can't find a target. Bouncing ball. Kolajasny bursts through and claims it for the Cats. And repels with a kick out to Stengel.
Got numbers ahead of the ball here.
Wants to use the corridor, but it's an ugly kick. He scrubs it into the centre square looking for Duncan. Sinkland's there for the Saints. Pushed off it. Atkins picks it up. His handball too hot for Dangerfield. Sinclair has a go now for St Kilda. Gives it to Clark, to Wanganeen Millerer. Chips out wide to Hill. He has space at half forward. 55 out. Pulls the kick brilliantly and finds Gresham 40 out from goal.
Danger's had a bit of a shocker. I don't know what he's doing. His handballs are missing the target. He's running over the footy. The Cats are out and away then. They should have been having a shot at the other end. He just took his eye off the handball receive and dropped it, and now the Saints are having a shot.
Jade Gresham, 20 goals for season 2023 so far. This slight angle to the right, 45 out to make the Cats pay. It hasn't got the accuracy, just got the distance for a minor score. St Kilda out to 18-point lead, 6-10-46 to Geelong's 4-4-28. 6 played, third term. Downstairs to Ian Cohen.
Good news for Cats fans. Brad Close is out there. He had an issue with right ankle. He still looks a bit proppy out there, but he's out there.
Guthrie going up the middle again. Unable to take the mark. Anyone in the contest. Little handball out from Holmes. Straight to Wanganeen Millerer. Kick back inside 50 for the Saints. Out the back it goes. Gresham onto it. This time he hits the post. St Kilda cannot find the major opening and are leaving the door ajar for Geelong. Equal game high lead, 19 points though. 6-11.
Really a sharpshooter, isn't he, Jimmy Gresham? That's 3, I reckon, tonight he'd usually gobble up. Just a little bit down on confidence, form, as we said. I'm not sure about the long kick down the middle from the kick out.
Duncan,
stage of the game.
Short to De Koning, hand passes back to Duncan. This time flares the kick out to the dockside wing to a contest, picked up by Henry off hands. Hand passes to Smith, gives it to Close. Hand pass over his head to Cameron, sweeping hand pass to Parfitt. Loops the hand pass over the top to Stengel. The Cats have worked it to half forward. Stengel gets rid of a couple of would-be tacklers. Hand passes over his head to Smith. Now they kick inside forward 50 to a pack. A big shove out from Cordy, no free kick.
Yeah, no, the umpire saw it.
Ball spills to Tui, gives it to Holmes. And kicks the goal the Cats needed. Wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. Margins back to 13. St Kilda 6-11-47. Geelong 5-4-34. After a couple of misses to the Saints at one end, Geelong go coast to coast. 7 minutes into the third term on Grandson AFL, Luke Ball and Nathan Burke.
Not pretty at all, you're right. It was a bit of that handball game footy, wasn't it? And there was handballs, there was no lookers, there was over the headers. Tyson Stengel getting out of trouble. Not sure how much of the clinch fished he got on that one, but they eventually picked their way through the Saints' pressure and team defence, and it was the long kick in from Isaac Smith. And let's have a look at the replay. Hard to see the free kick which was paid.
There's a
in
push
the end, it didn't matter. Yeah, push out. It did look a free kick. And Max Holmes keeps the Cats in it. Just looking at the replay of Hunter Clark copping one behind the ball, and the play before that. The medical staff looking at the vision of that for a potential concussion test.
So the Saints kick 3 behinds to start the term, and Geelong go down the other end and kick a goal. Now they've got it on the wing through Tui, the Cats. He kicks towards half forward. Dangerfield gathers on the half volley, knocks it out, socket on there by Parfitt. Ricochets away for the Saints. Now they're away down the City wing. Crouch, short kick to Membry. He'll chip it on to King, attacking edge of the square. He'll give the handball to Sinclair, misses him. Sinclair gathers, chips it short, and Higgins marks. They did their best to mess it up, but eventually they'll be able to go back and kick for goal through Jack Higgins.
Yeah, I think it's Membry leading up the ground. Hasn't had a huge amount of possessions, but he's leading up the ground. He's giving those players storming off back line a really good target.
Jade Higgins comes in and drills it through the middle. Finally, St Kilda find the major opening. 7:11:53 plays 5:4:34. 9 minutes into this third term on Grandstand AFL.
Again, it was that transition though, wasn't it, from half back through the corridor, which will be really disappointing for the Geelong, for Chris and the Geelong coaching staff. Cats, taking the ball forward. Dangerfield on the far wing there, and the turnover came. And Sinclair again. He's just been able to waltz through from that half back line, waltz through far too easily tonight at times. And when he gets it, usually it goes to someone. And it was a nice, easy kick inside 50 to Jack Higgins.
From the restart, Marshall palms it down. His opposing ruckman Neil picks it up, but he's copped it up to Owens. Spun at a 360, gets the handball out to Philippo. Has a fumble picked up by Atkins of Geelong. Gives it to Parfitt. Slips a tackle. Jams it on the boot to the broadcast wing. Mason Wood is there for St Kilda. Can dodge Henry. Kicks back into the middle to a one-on-one. Marshall taps it on intelligently. O'Connor chasing after it. Membry is there for St Kilda. They all go to ground. Dive on top of the footy. Umpire says play on. It spits out the back to Hill. Has some room to move. Kicks to full forward. Back with a flight. Buse. That's an excellent mark on the last line of defence.
In the back pocket. A kick out towards half-back for the Cats. And the mark taken by Kolajasny. Has it at right half-back. 19 points. St Kilda's advantage. As Kolajasny chips it short to Tui. Elsewhere, there's Sydney leading 9-5-59 to 4-3-27 at half-time. That's chipping it around inside the defensive 50. De Koning his kick, a little dodgy. Membry can't mark, spills down to O'Connor. Handball to Atkins, handball to Cameron. Through the middle of the ground they go. Handball back to O'Connor to retreat. And now he'll wheel and kick a floater for the Cats to half forward. Over the head of the contest it goes, bouncing out the back. Coming one way, Cordy gathers it. Handball away to Owens, and the Saints should come away with it through Webster.
Kicks out wide to Butler through his fingertips. Kolajasny out the back for St Kilda. He gets a hand pass out, but it's holding the ball. And a free kick to Butler, defensive side of the outer wing. Kicks down the line of Winhager. Coming from behind is Stewart. With the fist, it goes out of play for a throw-in on the City wing. St Kilda by 19. Let's get downstairs to Ian Cohen.
St Kilda now with a three-man bench. Hunter Clark, as Bawley identified, copped a heavy knock behind play and is being assessed downstairs.
Umpire flings it back in. Neil trying to take it out of the ruck. Spits out towards Owens. Loses it under pressure. Parfitt onto it. Dumps it onto the left. Tumbles it inside 50. It'll bounce out. And the umpire rightfully says spin it in.
Not sure they can feel too hard done by the Saints supporters tonight, but that's what happens when you pay a couple of dubious ones. You get the crowd involved.
And the ball in. Marshall takes it out of the ruck. Gives it to Owens. A blind kick around the corner. Tui is inside the centre square. Is caught by Butler. Gets the hand pass out to Stewart. Kicks up towards half forward to a one-on-one. Wood with the fist and does brilliantly at ground level. Gives it to Wilkie and now to Stocker. Looping hand pass to Hill. Gives it back to Stocker. Hugged up against the boundary line. Hand pass is inboard to King. Look out! Tackled by Bowes. Ball spills loose. Sinclair picks it up. He's turned it over to Smith on the wing. From in front of the interchange gates, pumps it to half forward for Geelong, and Marshall stands tall and takes the intercepting grab.
Marshall wants to switch it for the Saints. Gets it onto Windhager. Looks at an open city side wing. He'll kick around the edge of the centre square. Steele. Handball to Cordy. Wangani Malera sweeps it on towards Hill. He's worried out of it by Atkins. He's able to pick up the footy for the Cats. He'll kick into the middle of the ground, and the mark taken by Bowes.
It's not pretty, but it's pretty high-paced, intense footy.
St Kilda by 19. Bowes goes up the middle, and the mark taken by Duncan.
Got a few options up forward. Battle with the big fist from behind. Halves the contest. Wangani Miller picks up the footy. He exits defensive 50 to a contest. Marshall's there, just hacks it out of midair. A little bit dangerous. Owen's back with a flight. It's called play on. Hand pass 2 off for Sharman. Has another go. Hand passes to Filippo. Defensive side of halfway. Gives it to Steele. Cool, calm and collected. Kicks it to Higgins. Chips it to Butler at half forward. 55 out. Now he kicks into the path of King on the lead, knocked away from him, spills to Filippo, spins out of trouble and nails the goal! And that's got the Saints fans up and about. A new game-high lead to St Kilda, 25 points, 8-11-59 to Geelong, 5-4-34. 14 and a half minutes played, third term on Grandson AFL. Your experts are Luke Ball and Nathan Burke.
Well, it's up and back footy. You're right. Players, there's hands on hips and heads everywhere, and no surprise. You're right, Burke. It's not pretty, is it? Not pretty footy at all, but it's high pressure, high intensity. The crowd's involved. You can feel it. The stakes are high, as we know, and the intensity of the game's gone up. And young Filippo hasn't a big night, but just recognise the moment there. It was just work rate again from the Saints. They just had more numbers around the drop of the ball in the middle of the ground there, and Steele was able to get it to I think it was Higgins, and then Butler was by himself forward of the ball. I thought Max King had plenty of space to lead into, and he looks a bit tired, to be honest. Yeah, he's got the hands on the hips. It was an easy lead-up kick for him. He wasn't able to take the mark, but young Filippo on the right on the right spot. Lovely finish.
As Jess said, out by a game-high 25-point lead, the Saints. Winning it across halfback Stocker. Handball a little dodgy. Now the Cats are in there through Cameron. Spins out of a tackle. Handball to Bruin. He'll take a bounce. It barely comes back. Handball to Myers. Cats at half forward. Myers stabs it right onto the chest of Hawkins. He's the best at it in the business, Brian Myers.
Hawkins was pretty much right next to Cordy, who's done a pretty good job on him, but when you kick it that hard and flat and low, it's just almost impossible to stop as a defender.
Tom Hawkins already has one. The old champ, the reigning premiers, trying to hang around. Hawkins' kick is narrow. Misses right. Back to 24 points.
Saints quickly bring it in. Wangani Miller out to Wilkie, to Webster. Now back to Wilkie, who's marked at left half back. 24 points is the lead. Wilkie short to Webster. Hand passes to Windhager along the outer wing. Kicks down the line through the hands of Membry. He's kept alive by Sharman. Ricochets out at half forward and ends up with Tui of the Cats. He hand passes to Guthrie, looping hand pass over the top to Stewart. From half back, he chips it into the middle. Wangani Miller with the fist. Down to Windhager. Hand passes backwards to Crouch. Just got the hand pass out to Webster as Atkins with the flying boot. Is that a free kick?
You can't do that. One umpire missed it. There's the other one goal.
Webster was collected and he'll get the free kick on the logo outer wing. Quickly downstairs to Ian Cohen.
Yeah, Hunter Clark has come back up out of the Saints' rooms and reassumed his position on the bench, so he looks ready to go. Thumbs up.
Windhager on the City wing. St Kilda with the last 2 goals of the game. As Windhager goes long to a contest. De Koning punches it down. Spills to Crouch. Kicks towards full forward. Out the back, Butler tries to slap it on. Can only find Bowes for the Cats. They go quickly up the middle. Cameron wants to move it laterally out to Stengel. He'll mark on the logo. St Kilda still by 4 goals. Geelong don't really look like it. St Kilda just leaving the door ajar with some misses. Izzy Smith, long kick from the logo to half forward. No mark taken. Duncan Rose off to Myers. Pulls a kick for Hawkins. Hawkins protects the drop beautifully and marks in the left forward pocket. 45-degree angle, 20 metres out.
It's a crafty mark, isn't it? Every time we've seen that over well over 300 games. But Myers involved again. He's the one, isn't he, for the Cats that looks like making something happen. You're right, it's just such hard work for them.
Tom Hawkins wheels around and keeps these Cats in the game. They just do not know how to lose. Back to 18 points, 8:11:59 plays, 6:5:41, 19 minutes into the third.
Yeah, really good ball movement there by the Cats on a fast turnover. And you get the ball to Hawkins one out like that. Mitch Owens thought he had him covered, thought he had him wrapped up, but Hawkins just stuck the one arm out and pulled it in. But probably go back down to the other end with Dan Butler. If you can catch the ball and handball it, it's far more effective than just trying to tap it as you're running flat out in front of your teammates running. And that was the difference. Didn't hit his teammate, the ball goes down the other end. So sometimes the simple thing is the best.
Cats are hanging around. Margin 18. Beautiful tap from Marshall in the middle. Down to Crouch. Great handball to Steele. Kicks to full forward. What a leap! Cooper Sharman showing all of his athleticism. This raw, talented kid has pulled in a ripper.
Well, that was a clinic in the centre bounce. Royal Marshall got up, hit the ball forward to Crouch, and somehow Crouch has handballed the ball 45 degrees over his head to a running Jack Steele. And Cooper Sharman, that was
brilliant.
That was just out of nowhere. He's third man in line.
Spectacular grab from Cooper Sharman, the 23-year-old. 30 out, directly in front. He guides it home for his second. And the Saints are back out to a 24-point lead, 9-11-65 to Geelong 6-5-41. As we tick into time on to the third quarter on Grandson AFL, Luke Ball and Nathan Burke.
Yeah, it was textbook stuff, wasn't it, Burkey, out of the centre bounce. And it is an issue for the Cats more and more as this game's going on. Marshall's influence, Crouch, just bringing those midfielders into the game. Steele starting to have a real impact. That was a magnificent mark, wasn't it? He's got the match up on Tom Stewart, hasn't he? And it hasn't been as effective. Stewart's been pretty good, had a lot of the footy. We know he did the job on James Sicily a few weeks ago, Cooper Sharman. So he's obviously got the ability to lock into a task and you know, he's got the coach's trust in the ability to do that. But that was just pure athleticism, wasn't it? And brilliance, really. And I really like his kicking technique. There's not much that can go wrong with that. So a great response from Sharman and the Saints.
Back in the middle, the Saints come away with it again. Owens, handball to Battle, his kick smothered, ricochets away towards Steele. We'll get a handball out to Crouch. Now the Cats arrive through Holmes. Gives it off to Dangerfield. Bouncing a kick inside, attacking 50. Wilkie's up there to meet it. St Kilda back the other way. Hill, handball to Wanganeen Malira. Spends it before he has it. Now Cameron coming through. Stengel slaps it onto Cameron. Wood gets back. St Kilda are there in numbers. Back to Cordy by hand. It goes to Battle by foot.
Chips out wide to Crouch. He's all alone at half back for the Saints. Has time to measure his kick to Hill. Dangerfield, great desperation, but Hill can regather and scoots past Dangerfield on the outer wing. Hand passes inboard to Crouch, who gives it to Sinclair. He chips it inside the arc to King. 48 metres out. 45-degree angle to the left.
Just power running, Berkey. Just power running. The Cats, they're running them off their legs at the moment. Have a look down behind play now. There's Cats players down on their haunches, and it's Hill, it's Crouch, it's Sinclair. These elite runners. Wood's been involved too for the Saints as this game's going on. Starting to have a real impact and worry, real danger signs for the Cats here.
Max King, 3 goals tonight. This from long range, outside of the arc, gives it everything he's got. It's missing to the left. 25 points the margin. The Saints way, 9-12-66, Geelong 6-5-41. 23 play third term. Downstairs to Ian Cohen.
And I would suggest that Geelong's rotations are going to take a hit. Brad Close has been sitting on the pine now for the best part of 12 minutes. Does not look interested in the game. We know he was late coming out after half-time.
With the kick in, Bose goes up the middle, and St Kilda come up with it again through battle. Handball away towards Stocker, who looks inside 50, and the mark taken by Stewart. 40 out from his defensive goal. He'll go laterally to Tui, who will peel off a kick out towards the wing, and Stengel can mark. So Geelong looking down the city side of the ground.
Saints by 25, Stengel chips in board to Smith, and continue the switch to Kolajasny. The outer edge of the centre square can mark and take off. Gets up towards half forward. Lead is presented by O'Connor. 2 kicks from goal. Chips it inside 450. It's not a great kick. Hawkins caught behind and he said, "You should have kicked it over my head." Cordy takes the intercepting grab. Inside defensive 50 for St Kilda. 25 points the margin.
Cordy will kick laterally and he'll go out on the full. A little too wide from Cordy. So Holmes with the free kick. He'll drive it long towards full forward. Neal crashes the pack. Out the back. There to mop up. Gresham for St Kilda. High ball beyond defensive 50. Wood goes up one-handed. Can't take the mark. Ball spills away. Kolajasny coming through. Loses it in the tackle. Holding the ball. And St Kilda through Crouch will get it at right half back. They lead by 25 points. 24 minutes into the third.
Chip short to Wanganeen Millera. Chips it to Steele, who's marked in front of the interchange gates. Can give it back to Wanganeen Millera by foot. They're going to play some patient footy here, the Saints. Wanganeen Millera switches it to the city side to Cal Wilkie. Chip short to Hill, defensive side of halfway. Gets it down the line to Marshall, who's marked in front of Isaac Smith. And passes it to Hill, who kept running. Approaches half forward, looks into the pocket, and Sharman got hands to it, but Stewart with the fist kills the contest and sends it over the line. Ball in, 45 around from St Kilda's goal. They hold a 25-point lead, 25 into the third.
The switch from one side to the other in the Saints back line is really working for them.
Can Geelong come again? Sharman in the ruck, taps it to himself, gets it on the left boot, pulls it to full forward. King can't mark. He'll track it into the pocket. Membry too. Membry can't keep it in. Out of play, throw in right forward pocket.
Max in those one-on-ones, he just goes, everything's focused on the ball. He's got to learn to actually shove his opponent and use his arms to get some separation.
4:50 stoppage here for the Saints from the throw-in. Neither ruck gets there. Neal arriving late. Spits out towards Higgins. Just sweeps a handball away. Out of the congestion. Onto it, Steele. Handball to Hill. At half forward, St Kilda. Away to Sinclair. Away to Wilkie. Wilkie goes short and puts it on the chest of Butler. He marks 40 out, slightly left of centre.
Well, it's just work rate at the moment. Again, I mentioned it after that last goal. The power runners of the Saints are just coming to the fore here late in this third quarter. The Cats, they look gassed, really. They don't look likely at all. Butler gets a really good opportunity here. You feel like 5-6 goals is probably the margin at the moment.
So Dan Butler will come in and pull the trigger on goal and miss left.
Off the hook.
They continue to keep Geelong in the game. St Kilda by 26 points.
Stewart to bring the ball back in for the Cats. Not long left in this third quarter. He wants to go straight up the pipe to a contest inside the centre square. Henry from the side through his fingertips. Marshall out the back. Jams it on the boot inside forward. 50 and marking is Higgins. 40 out directly in front.
That long kick up the middle, they've done 4 of them and not one of them have come off.
Not only that, at least 3 of them have gone straight back inside 50. And I'd say at least 2 of those have resulted in a shot at goal. Because that's what happens when you're out of position. That one then in particular, I mean, Tom Stewart's been one of the Cats' best tonight, but got to realise your teammates are cooked. You just got to somehow get to the three-quarter time siren for a breather. Might cost them a goal here.
Jack Higgins in his 100th AFL game. Grew up a Saints fan. This one's away to the right for a minor score, but it is a healthy 27-point lead to St Kilda as we turn for home. 9-14-68, Geelong 6-5-41. The goal kickers for the Saints, Max King has 3, Cooper Sharman has 2, and singles to Owens, Butler, Higgins and Filippo. And for Geelong, Hawkins has a couple, and singles to Holmes, Stengel, Duncan and Guthrie.
So St Kilda by 27 points as they try to defend their place in the 8. Possession is 9/10 of the law. They've been in there for every week of this AFL season. They sit 6th and they're 1 quarter away from going mightily close to locking in September action. Luke Ball and Nathan Burke, their thoughts coming up. This is Grandstand AFL.
You'll always find top drama on ABC iView.
Show me what you got.
Always intriguing with The Messenger and Smother.
I don't know who to trust anymore.
People think I'm a psycho. Always dramatic with Vandervolk and In Our Blood.
She really doesn't like you. The world needs beautiful things right now.
And always different with In Limbo, Bay of Fires and so much more.
I'm back for an encore.
A surprise holiday. You'll always find the best drama.
Happy.
Streaming for free on ABC iView. Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Now they kick inside forward 50 to a pack. A big shutout from Cordy, no free kick. Ball spills to Tui, gives it to Holmes and kicks the goal the Cats needed.
Ricochets away for the Saints. Now they're away down the city wing. Crouch, short kick to Membry. He'll chip it onto King, attacking edge of the square. He'll give the handball to Sinclair, misses him. Sinclair gathers, chips it short, and Higgins marks. Higgins comes in and drills it through the middle.
Beautiful tap from Marshall in the middle, down to Crouch. Great handball to Steele. Kicks to full forward, what a leap! Cooper Sharman! Showing all of his athleticism. This raw, talented kid has pulled in a ripper. Spectacular grab from Cooper Sharman, the 23-year-old. 30 out, directly in front. He guides it home for his second.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
St Kilda have extended their lead at every change. 12 points at quarter time, 16 at the half, and 27 at three-quarter time. An anonymous SMS, leave your name and where you're listening. Dogs will beat the Cats by 10 goals next week. Never seen such a slow AFL side. Big Malthouse described them last night as slow as a treacle.
Described who?
Geelong.
Last night.
Yep.
Slow as a what?
Slow as a treacle. That was my response too. But
Slow as treacle.
Slow as treacle.
I used to
Sorry.
love that one.
Yeah, which is
Why were we talking about the Cats last night?
We're previewing the game
Fair
tonight.
enough. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess they have been tonight. They've been showed up a bit, really, but both in pressure and intensity around the ball, and then what I think what that caller or texter is talking about, and what will disappoint the Cats coaching staff is, and it really, for mine, Berkey, showed late in that last 5-10 minutes that the Saints' power runners, and look, they've been doing this to teams all year, so it's not only the Cats, but especially through the middle of the ground, across halfback, really did make the Cats look pedestrian or just tired late in that third quarter. So I'm not sure whether they can just muster one more effort, the Cats. The Saints have done their best this one should be over, let's be honest. It's 23 shots to 11. At 9-14, it could very well be 14-9, and the Saints are thinking about next week already. So, can they muster one last effort? I mean, this is it for the Cats, so they might as well have a crack at it. Throw caution to the wind. They started to do that in a sense in that quarter with those kick-outs down the middle. Although I'm not sure there was a heap of sort of signs to it really, especially when you kick into Rowan Marshall against a third gamer. I'm not sure that's the answer, but worth a try, and that will be the order of the day in this last quarter from the Cats' point of view. I think they lose tonight, the season's over, so they might as well go down swinging and have a crack at it. But from the Saints' point of view, the message is just keep running, keep the pressure, keep running, and we'll break them. Might take 15, 20 minutes, it might take 10. But we'll break them this quarter. And just some composure with that last kick inside 50 to make sure we're getting the best shot at goal we can. Because there's been plenty of space in that front half, particularly on turnover tonight. And then when you have the shot at goal, especially forwards, Higgins, Butler, that's what we're paying you for, boys. Go back, take your 30, take a deep breath and kick the goal. Do your job.
Just on the live ladder at the moment, so St Kilda in 6th on 52 points, a percentage of 108.6. GWS are 8th, they've got 48 points, a percentage of 105.6. So St Kilda head up to the Gabba, where Brisbane have only lost 4 of their last 51 home and away matches at the Gabba next week, and GWS take on Carlton in the final round.
But I don't think it matters. If they win, they'll be in, because the Crows are going to lose. So
that is
52, you're in. So if the Saints hang on here, they're in, Benny.
Well, they trail by 26 points at the moment early in the third, Adelaide. So
they can only get to 48 anyway. So Saints hang on.
Bulldogs could take their place. They're going to play tomorrow against West Coast and then Geelong next week. So there's a chance, I think.
Okay. Yep.
Final quarter underway. St Kilda leading by 27 points. Marshall wins the tap down. Atkins the clearance for the Cats. And getting back, Wilkie takes the defensive mark. And St Kilda win it back in their defensive 50.
Wilkie chips it short to Stocker, who flares his kick out wide to Webster. Chips it down the line to Windhager. He continues the short kicking to Crouch, who's marked between wing and half back. St Kilda by 27. Early stages of this final term. Crouch long down the line of a contest, gets out the back to Stewart. Takes the grab for the Cats.
Stewart, a little unsure initially. Cats, can they find a spark somewhere? Stewart with a long kick to half forward. O'Connor going up, can't mark. Duncan Rose, handball away to Neal. Handball to Holmes, right on 50. Pulls the trigger and misses left. That would have been a nice igniting goal for the Cats, not to be. 26 points in Kilda's advantage.
Wanganeen Miller out with the kick-in duties. Finds Stocker in the back pocket. Chips it forward to Wilkie. Looks to this dock side of the ground. Long kick, finds Webster. Thought about giving it to Wanganeen Miller and does now. Chips it forward. Didn't quite have the journey. Wanganeen Miller taps it back to Webster. Is caught by Stengel. Should be holding the ball. The umpire says play on. Ball trickles out of play for a throw-in. At half forward for Geelong, St Kilda lead by 26 points, 2 minutes into the last.
A little bit lucky there. He must have thought he got a handball to it and the handball was smothered. That's what I think he thought, Jess. You don't look at me like that.
Umpire flings it in. Marshall swats it down onto it. Atkins. Kick smothered there by Sinclair. Gresham steals it. Handball errant straight to Jeremy Cameron. Cats back with the football. Look away handball. Straight to Sinclair. His long handball. Knocked down by Neal. Goes to Crouch for St Kilda. He'll flick it over his head away to Gresham. Kicks around the boundary line. Guthrie with a hand on it. Hill swats it out. Guthrie appeals and the umpire says throw it in.
I guess I was just surprised with defending an umpire, I think, Berkey.
St Kilda by 26.
Just caught me off guard.
I was trying to get inside their head, which I failed.
I think you are right, though. So, ball back into play. Marshall in front position, controls it down, still overran it. Gets out to Holmes, gets around Owens, sweeping hand pass to Cameron, who gives it to Dangerfield from the wing, kicks the Cats inside forward 50. Hawkins, one-on-one against Cordy, who did well to take the mark, and then kicks out wide to Mason Wood, who has some room to move at half-back. Long kick to the outer side wing to Membry. Takes the grab just inside the field of play. St Kilda by 26.
Saints tall defenders have been outstanding tonight. Battle, Wilkie and Cordy.
Membry moves it on short to Wood. Just backward of the logo, city side of the ground.
Bit of a stalemate this first quarter. This first 5 minutes of this last quarter. Neither side really taking the game on. A little bit jittery.
Goes to Wanganeen Malera. He moves it on to Wilkie. Dock side of the ground. Stabs it short to Windhager. A left half forward. Windhager looks into the pocket for big Rowan Marshall. Launching at the footy, can't take the mark. Phillippo at the fall of it. Handball to Owens. Handball away to Higgins. Gets it on the boot and slams it through. St Kilda out by a game high 32 points. Higgins gets his second. And St Kilda look like they're marching into the finals. 10-14-74. Plays 6-6-42. 4 minutes into the fourth.
Has looked pretty dynamic at Saints forward line tonight. You mentioned King obviously back in there, makes a big difference. Memory, it's the second game they've played together now. It might just be coming together at the right time for the Saints, and with the small mosquito fleet with Butler and Gresham's done he played his part. Higgins probably could have kicked 3 or 4 now in his 100th game. Throw in Owens down there, who was involved in that there, just his power there with the goal assist to Higgins. It's functioned pretty well, but for bad kicking, it could have been a really big night.
Back in the middle, Marshall down to Clark. He's pursued by Bruin, who runs him down, just gets the hand pass away. Hill on the wing. He's running backwards, trying to evade Bowes in a 1-2 with Owens. Hill has a bounce adjacent to the centre square, then chips up towards half forward and finds Jack Steele. Chips it in to forward 50 and King's on the end of it. 40 out, slide angle to the right. It's all going St Kilda's way in this final quarter.
Bradley Hill did extremely well then. One, to just pick up the ball cleanly around his feet, but then turn on pace when he needed it and then steadied when he needed it. And it was just a really good bit of class by the old fella.
St Kilda with the only goal in this final quarter so far. King has 3, shoots towards goal, it's away to the left. Just sneaking in for a behind. 33 points the margin. St Kilda 10-15-75 to Geelong 6-6-42. 6 minutes played, final turn.
Well, if they are to go on beyond this week and the week after, this is a bit of a hit. They've got to fix this. They've got to be taking these chances. I feel like this one's under control tonight, but up against Brisbane next week, the better teams, you've got to be taking your chances.
Cameron takes the short kick from Smith, who goes short to Bruin. Cats trying to work it around the city wing. Lead by 33 points as Bruin gets himself into a little bit of trouble. Now kicks high around the wing. Marshall a hand to it. St Kilda come away with it through Wilkie. Away to Steele, away to Webster, and now Windhager. Runs off the defensive edge of the square, kicks towards Hill, can't take the mark, and there to mop up Izzy Smith for the Cats. A clever kick around the corner, finds Parfitt on the wing.
Wants to use the corridor, it's a risky kick, but it comes off. O'Connor takes a strong grab as Stocker goes to ground. Was met heavily by O'Connor. 2 hand passes to Bowes from half forward. It's an ugly kick inside offensive 50, straight down the throat of Battle. Takes the intercepting grab for the Saints and kicks back to the top of the defensive goal square to Sinclair.
Sinclair goes laterally to Wood in the right back pocket. Try and do my best to explain the state of play around the ladder in a moment. There's Sinclair chipping it over the top. Away to Marshall, his kick, errant, and touched by Butler. Thrown on the wing. So essentially today, assuming Sydney win and assuming St Kilda win, the Bombers, the Cats and the Crows will all be eliminated today. And we will be down to 9 teams that can make the 8. And it will be either the Saints or one of the Bulldogs, Sydney and GWS. So that's where we stand at the moment. Neil slapping it down from the throw-in on the wing. Coming through Parfitt, standing up in a tackle.
The AFL will be Benny, then we'll come down to the last game of the season. Carlton v GWS here next Sunday evening, isn't it? 6 o'clock start.
It is.
That's correct. From the stoppage, Hunter to Windhager to Steele all by hand. Forward of the wing. Kicks a high ball off the boot into the pocket, and De Koning read that well and takes the grab for Geelong and chips short to Bowes at left half back. Called a play on, chips it down the line of Myers. Defensive side of halfway on the city wing. Chips in board, and it's a great kick in the end. Finds Henry and continue the switch to Smith. Hand pass to Duncan. In fact, it's Tui on the dockside wing. Kicks inside the arc. It lands at the feet of Hawkins, who can't trap it cleanly. It ricochets out of play for a throw-in. 45 around from Geelong's goal. St Kilda by 33. 9 minutes gone, final term, Grandstand AFL.
It's a little cruel for St Kilda. We came here tonight thinking a win tonight would solidify it, but they might need a little more. Umpire flings it in. They track it back to the boundary line, and Owens carries it out. Ross 2.0 trying to lead the Saints back to September. They should be winning here. They lead by 33 points, 9 minutes into the fourth term.
Ball spun back into play. Hawkins and Marshall in ruck. That tap to Hawkins. Windhager has a fumble. Smith tries to go off the ground and couldn't find connection with his boot. Picked up by Bruin, who gives it to Duncan. Hand pass into space. Picked up by Smith, who gives it to Parfitt. Now to Cameron. 50 metres out. Chip in boards a nice one and finds Bowes in space. He'll shoot from 45 out. 45-degree angle to the left.
Jeremy Cameron's been freed up a bit this quarter. All too little too late, you'd think.
14 disposals after kicking 7 goals last week.
Yeah, no goals at all, no score at all. So see if you can get a goal assist on the board at least here. But yeah, it's been a disappointing night for the Cats start.
So Jack Bowes will play game number 100 next week. This shot from 45 out is on its way. It's across the face, 4 behind. Margin 32. St Kilda 10-15, 75 to Geelong 6-7, 43. 10 gone, final term, Grandstand AFL.
Webster taking the kick in, just dabbing it to the pocket. And Stocker, who'll kick really short to Hill. Play on, says the umpire. Bowes is onto him. Now handball back to Stocker. He's under all sorts of pressure. The Cats are swarming close to the line. And Wilkie somehow emerges with the footy. Little 1-2 with Steele, kicks it into the back of Stengel. And out of play it goes, a throw in at left half forward here for the Cats. 32 points, St Kilda's advantage. Nearly 11 travelled in the fourth. Elsewhere, it is Sydney leading by 26 with 7 minutes to play in the third.
Marshall can't take it cleanly out of the ruck. Picked up by Myers of Geelong. Gives it to Smith and now to Parfitt. Hand passes backwards to Jeremy Cameron. 55 out close to the boundary. Jams it on the boot to a big pack inside forward 50 through the hands of a couple of Saints. Ends with Buse. Dribbles a kick forward and Tui sockers it off the ground. And pegs one back for Geelong. Might be a little... Well, we're going to go upstairs, in fact, so we're going to go check if this is touched.
Nice goal for goal. Please check if it's touched off the beat.
Now, Wangan and Malera didn't really
review underway.
Stick their hand up and say, I touched that one.
Soft call is a goal. Cameras, I don't think it's really captured.
That's a goal.
It'll be a goal. Enough desperation there for Wanganeen Malera at Berkey, you think? That's a grand final. I mean, I know it's not, but...
Yeah. No, I don't need to be diving onto that one.
It's all right for you to talk about.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball is kicked by the Geelong attacker last prior to crossing the goal line. Decision on scoreboard.
So the goal is confirmed to Zach Tui. And St Kilda's lead is brought back to 26 points. St Kilda 10-15, 75. Geelong 7-7, 49. 12 and a half played final term on Grayson AFL.
It's all right for you, Borley, to talk about critical moments late in grand finals. St Kilda fans aren't so fond of it.
No, that's fair. Yeah, that's why I'd like to see a bit more desperation from the youngster. Get ready for finals in a couple of weeks' time where you need to be diving on those sort of balls, but he hasn't done much else wrong tonight, in fairness. Zach Tui, another player who hasn't had his best night for the Cats, but it feels like it's too far to reach the challenges that they've had with scoring here. But if they can just... Jeremy Cameron, well, we've got Ollie Henry's in the ruck here. He's going to jump in the ruck against Mitch Owens, and Jeremy Cameron's in the centre bounce. So throwing the magnets around.
1 kick, 3 handballs, Ollie Henry.
Haven't kicked back-to-back goals all night, Geelong, and they'll need to do that if they're to challenge here. St Kilda out of the middle. Hunter Clark will go laterally to Windhager. Marks on the edge of the centre square, and No one stands the mark, so he just runs away with it. Kicks as long as he can in the direction of Filippo. Over the back, it's punched away. And Tui's there to mop up. He'll kick around the boundary and find Duncan, who marks at left half back for the Cats. 26 points, St Kilda's advantage.
Don't want to concede another one quickly here, the Saints, because there's still 11.5 minutes to go in this game. We've seen weirder things happen.
Duncan short to Bowes. Not sure where to go, and elects to kick backwards to Koning. Has to collect on the bounce and then kick out wide to Stewart. Chips it inboard to Atkins. Didn't have the distance, but has time to mop up at ground level. Gives it to Bowes, to Guthrie. Hand passes to Smith, and now off to Cameron from left half back. Kicks out wide. Duncan's marked on the logo City wing.
So Duncan loops a handball over the top. Cameron running on. Onto his left, he chips it short. And Parfitt can mark. He'll wheel and go long. In the Hawkins direction, Wood comes across. A saving fist. He punches it out and the throw-in the left forward pocket. And Geelong find another goal. Like I said, haven't kicked back-to-back majors tonight. St Kilda by 26. Umpire flings it in. Hawkins opposed to Owens. Dangerfield coming through. Shovels out a handball. Going after it, Izzy Smith. Parfitt there. Close to the boundary line. It goes out. And a throw in on the elbow of 50 in the boundary line. For the Cats, St Kilda by 26.
Over at Adelaide Oval, Sydney skipping out now. 32-point lead. Closing in on three-quarter time. It's a big result for their season. St Kilda here in the box seat. Under the roof, ball back into play. Hunter just gets a kick away as he was tackled to the ground. So nice grab taken by Guthrie, who chips it inboard to Stewart. From the bullseye, kicks a long ball inside, attacking 50 for the Cats, off hands. Hill tracking it towards the line, happy to see it over. Ball in, 70 round from Geelong's goal. St Kilda by 26. Nearly 16 minutes played now in this final quarter.
All valuable minutes being chipped off the clock here by the Saints.
Sand just slipping through the hourglass for the Cats as De Koning knocks it down and Hunter Clark gets it. Handball, a turnover straight to Bruin. His kick ricochets off Steele and will tumble out. We'll get a throw in. 30 around from the attacking goal for the Cats. Another forward 50 stoppage. Sydney by 32, as Jess mentioned. Their finals hopes will stay alive. Hawkins trying to slap it to the back. Cameron onto it. Snaps towards goal. And Cordy's there, top of his defensive goal square to mark for the Saints.
Kicks out wide to Wilkie. Solid defender for the Saints. That's an ugly kick off the boot. Lands at the feet of Wood and can trap it, and hand pass out wide to Windhager. Has space at half back. Measure is kicked down the line. Looking for Sharman, who had to turn spoiler. It spills to Crouch. Sweeping hand pass over the top to King, and it's opened up for the Saints. King hand passes inboard to Butler. Approaches 50. Clever kick looking for Higgins, but reading it best is Tui. Takes the grab and then kicks to Bruin at the top of the defensive goal square.
Should have done better there, the Saints. They had runners, they had options inside 50, and a little bit too fancy by Butler.
Braun pulls his kick into the middle. Wilkie comes up, contests it. Spills out to Myers. He'll get on his right boot, chip a ball. Saints spoil each other. It spills to Hunter Clark though, and they'll come away with it. Short kick to Marshall. On the logo. St Kilda leading by 26 points. Goes sideways to Sinclair. He snuck on off the bench. Sinclair chips it short for Steele, who's clattered into there by O'Connor. He bounces back up and wins at the Saints captain. Gives it off to Wood. Snaps the ball inside 50. Spills down to De Koning. Handball away to Stewart. He can't quite gather it cleanly. Paddles it on. And now arriving Atkins.
Hemmed up against the boundary line. Just kicks it high down the line. Dangerfield in best position. Got hands to it. Couldn't complete the mark. Goes over the line for a boundary throw in. Crowd posted at 40,103 tonight. That's more than Friday night. between Collingwood and Brisbane. Let's get downstairs to Ian Cohen.
Yeah, Tom Hawkins has just come off straight down the race, so more issues for the Cats.
And Zion is from the ball in. Crouch gives it to Owens. His kick partially smothered. It spills to O'Connor of the Cats. The hand pass to Atkins. He's turned it over to Marshall. Wheels around and just sends a chaos ball inside forward 50. King in a one-on-one against De Koning. King close to the line. Coming in with getting a hand on it is Buse and sends it over the line for a rush behind. St Kilda's lead 27 points, 10-16-76 to Geelong, 7-7-49, 19 gone, final term.
Tui kicks up the middle, straight to Bose, who moves it on to Guthrie, and then Duncan in the middle of the ground. Duncan will loop it over the top to Bose. It will stop and try and kick a spiral straight up and down the chimney. It bounces in the middle of the ground. Bouncing ball coming through Atkins. Oh, bursts onto it. Gets through a few and nails the goal. Don't shut the door just yet. Back to 21 points. First time tonight Geelong have kicked back-to-back majors. 10-16-76 St Kilda. Geelong 8-7-55. 19 played final term.
Good night, Berkey. I mean, you wouldn't think so again. Just how hard it is to get those shots at goal. Kick from Jack Pose. That one's not out of the manual, but worth a try. And Tom Atkins, you just love the way he goes about it. Berkey, she's a mini Nathan Burke, to be honest. The way he attacks the contest and everything. He's tried his backside off tonight.
Put a lid on him.
22 possessions. Gets himself a goal and. A bit of noise about, isn't there?
Yeah.
State supporters just a little
Plenty
bit nervous.
of time.
Yeah, they were urging them on.
St Kilda's lead cut to 21 from the restart. Dangerfield gets the hand pass out into space. Picked up by Gresham of St Kilda. Sweeping hand pass to Brad Hill from left half forward. Kicks it inside the arc. Getting back with the flight of the ball is Tom Stewart. And the Cats can reload off half back. He chips in board. Oh, it just came off to Bose, who goes whack towards half forward. A one-on-one, Webster with the fist. Ball alive inside the Cats forward 50, picked up by Sinclair, and that's a nice exit kick to Mason Wood.
Wood happy to just hold it up, cleverly chip it away to Owens.
Jack Sinclair just so clean below his knees, running at full pace, just no time to fumble and never does.
31 disposals for Sinclair tonight, 81% efficiency.
Yeah, 13 between Closer, we know, went off injured, and Tyson Stengel. And Myers has been good, but Close, Stengel and Henry, just not enough impact tonight for the Cats.
Hill will drive it long inside 50 for St Kilda. Massive pack forms. No one can mark it. And we'll get a ball up. Quick tackle from Atkins. Wrapping up Higgins. Ball up. 40 out from the Saints goal. Can they find another one and put it to bed?
Koning and Ruck palms it down. It spills to Sharman. His hand pass partially deflected. Picked up by Crouch, who gives it to Hill. And now to Gresham from half forward. Outside of the boot to full forward to a big pack. It spills out to Guthrie. Hand passes into the path of Cameron. His hand pass to Duncan. And now off to Atkins. Can have a bounce. Left half back. Kick long down the line. Stengel has two to beat. Got hands to it, but it spills to Wilkie at ground level. A hand passes defensively to Webster.
Saints holding up for the time being. Webster short to Sinclair.
Weird thing for the Cats is that Jeremy Cameron is patrolling as pretty much a loose man across their half-back line. If they're going to win this, they're going to have to get him up the other end, because that's certainly playing into the Saints' hands.
Marshall kicking from the middle of the ground out to the dockside wing, and the mark taken by Gresham. Jade Gresham. How many more games has he got in a Saints jumper? Find out at the end of the season. He chips it short, and Hill marks. St Kilda by 21. 22 minutes played. Final term. Hill waits a kick for Marshall. He marks it left half forward.
De Koning was right next to him, and Marshall led forward. He just let him lead up, takes all the pressure off any form that the Cats were applying.
Marshall kicks into the pocket. Here's Jeremy Cameron. Read it best. Kicks across the face of goal to Tui, who has a fumble. Now has some work to do in the back pocket. Sweeping hand pass over the top to Cameron. He just hand passes to space. And it's going to be a turnover as Wilkie picks it up. Hand passes inboard to Sinclair. Now gives it off to Owens. Back to Sinclair from half forward. Pokes the pass to Mason Wood, who's marked 50 out close to the boundary. And he might go back and take some time off the clock and have a shot here.
Jeremy Cameron can get as many possessions as he wants running around in the back pocket.
It's almost like, okay, put him back there just to get his hands on the footy, get his confidence up, but then he's got to push forward. He's just kicking it straight to his opponent. It's just been that sort of night really for the Cats. Tough night for Dangerfield. Really, Stewart's the only one that can say he's really confidently, had a good night, won his position.
Mason Wood just kicks to the top of the goal square. Sharman got upstairs, couldn't complete the mark. De Koning hand passes to Bose, who just hacks it out of the danger zone to a contest. And Neil takes a good grab for Geelong.
Can they get it going through the middle? Trying to chain up handballs. O'Connor in trouble. Handballs away. Sinclair picks it up for the Saints. Looks inside 50. Over the back it goes. Higgins will try and get there. Tui beats him to it. Now he's under pressure. Handball away. And Buse will get it to Atkins, who kicks to Cameron. Cats with it on halfback.
All or nothing for the Cats as Cameron gives it to Bose, and that's a woeful kick straight down the throat of Jack Steele. Marks right on halfway, city wing, and then chips it out wide to Sinclair.
Some of Bo's decision-making tonight with the footy has left a little bit to be desired.
It's Cameron though too. Cameron just put it up. Terrible handball really to put him in that position. He had players out wide here.
Sinclair short to Gresham. Kicks high into the pocket and Marshall in front position takes the grab. 35 out, 10 in from the boundary.
Rowan Marshall tonight's coming up for his 23rd possession. And Neil, who's been his opponent for most of the night, has had the 3 handballs.
Rowan Marshall, a long run up. He'll start it from 70 out.
The All-Australian squad, Berkey, question without notice. Maybe we'll talk about it after the game. I think he's in the top.
There's no real standout for me.
Certainly maybe 3 this comp.
Marshall's kick is on its way to drive a dagger into the hearts of Cats fans. The Saints are marching towards finals. The lead is out to 27 points. 11-16-82 to Geelong, 8-7-55. 26 gone, final term on Grandstand AFL.
Well, they've been impressive from start to finish tonight. The Saints came out of the blocks really firing, and they've kept up that pressure all the way through. You'd expect a team like Geelong to have probably extended periods. If they've got on top for any length of time, it's only been for 3 or 4 minutes at most, but you'd expect them to probably have 5-10 minutes of dominance, but they haven't. The Saints have wrestled back that dominance, and it's been a very complete performance. Their backs, their mids, their forwards have all won their areas.
Bounce back in the middle. The goal kicker Marshall in the ruck, slapping it down. Dangerfield throwing a boot at it. Free kick. Trying to go to the Saints. Crouch with it. He'll kick laterally out to the wing. Mark taken by Membry. And the Saints will be pretty content, you would think, to chip it around. They lead by 27 points late in this final term. And they're going to go very close to booking their place in September action. As Gresham kicks inside 50 and Zach Guthrie marks.
Oh, he's kicked it straight into the back of Neil. It ricochets back to Guthrie. His kick partially smothered. Butler picks it up and runs straight to the Saints fans in the stands. Puts the exclamation mark on a big, big win under the roof. Saints by 33. 12-16-88 to Geelong 8-7-55. 28 gone. Final term. Grandstand AFL. Luke Ball and Nathan Burke.
Zach Guthrie was it? Just that little passage of play there, Burke, is really. You mentioned all credit to the Saints tonight. That from the very first bounce, they've been by far and away the better side. Just Paul Kickings kept the Cats with some semblance of hope in this last quarter, but that really again just summed up the Cats' night. Zach Guthrie, okay, good intercept mark, but kicked it straight into his teammate's back. Poor old Shannon Neal, you mentioned his numbers before. He'll learn a lot from this, obviously, but Really a dirty night for the Cats.
They're going forward again through a Marshall clearance. Stewart's there though, immediately. St Kilda are all over them before Tui emerges and kicks long towards half forward for the Cats. Myers over to Rove, gives it off to Duncan. Chips inside 50, bouncing ball here for Ollie Henry. Back to Holmes. The back feeder handball to Cameron. Cameron will try and pull a kick into the pocket for Myers. Sinclair's there and he swats it away. And the Saints look like they're heading back to September. They lead by 33.
Jack Sinclair up to 37 disposals. 9 marks, 11 score involvements. Ball back into play inside Geelong's forward 50. Dangerfield squeezes a kick forward, right to the line, but standing in the way is Membry in the last line of defence, and then chips out wide to Hill in the back pocket. He can take off and have a couple of bounces. Make it 3 bounces. No one comes to him. 4 bounces between wing and half back, and now he chips in board to Sinclair, who, as I just mentioned, had a brilliant game. 38 now.
Yeah, I mean, no one has gone anywhere near him from the first bounce tonight.
11 score involvements from the half-back line.
Geelong's premiership defence is over. The Saints have 1 foot in the finals door. They win by 33.
Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, how I want to be with St Kilda. When the Saints go marching in.
The Saints meant business from the opening bounce. They kicked the first 3 goals of the game to open up a 19-point lead. They led by 12 at quarter time before Geelong made a charge in the second. They got within 6 points. But that would be as close as they would get. The Saints by 16 at half-time. The lead blew out to a game-high 33 points early in the last as they kicked the final 2 goals of the game in front of a big Saints crowd here under the roof at Docklands. St Kilda marching towards finals, 12-16, 88 to 8-7, 55 winners.
So St Kilda do what they needed to and defend their place in the top 8. And the Cats have used up all of their lives in their premiership defence. We thought a win would be enough. There's still a little bit to play out in this AFL season. Luke Ball, Nathan Berg, I said it a couple of times, but possession's 9/10 of the law. They've held it all year and they continue to, St Kilda.
Fantastic performance right from the start by the Saints today. They're back to their defending best, and when they defend like that, that's their game plan, and then their offense grows from that great defense. And it seems to be when they're not defending like that, and they're not switched on like that, well then they can't make up for it with great offense. But when it all comes together, like it did tonight, it's a pretty impressive outlet. They had 7-12 from set shots, so potentially should have won this game on the scoreboard by a bigger margin, but really their defence was outstanding. Their tall players in Cordy and Wilkie and Battle, they controlled the air every time it went forward for the Cats. Up the other end, Max King was dangerous. Membry, I thought, played his role really, really well. Didn't have a lot of possessions. He had 9 possessions, but I think he took 8 marks, pretty much leading up the ground and providing a really good outlet. But it was that run-off halfback right from the start, combined with the dominance of the midfield, that really set them up for a outstanding game. I thought Sinclair, as we've spoken about, 38 possessions. Brad Hill's run was just relentless. And I think he just ran Geelong players off their legs right from the start. And in the middle, Brad Crouch is really underestimated important player for the Saints. When he plays well, when he has a great game in the middle, gets his hands on the ball first, well then that's when the Saints are up and about and doing really, really well. So he's made himself a really important player for the Saints. And the Cats, I think you called it once there in that third quarter, Bally, where we look back and Dangerfield had his hands on his knees, a couple were on their haunches bending over, and this was in the middle of the third. They looked tired, and they couldn't match the Saints' run by any stretch of the imagination. So a lot of soul-searching and maybe a bit of a change of the guard potentially down there at the Cats over the summer.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Bert. And not many can. I mean, you're right. The Saints were back to their A game tonight, their defence. But what stood out to me was their running power. So to beat this Saints team, you've got to be able to run. You've got to be able to power run. And as the game went on, and okay, they kicked poorly and just left the door ajar a little bit, but they were never really in at the Cats. They never looked like scoring with any sort of fluency, or they had to really hack away and work overtime for their scores, and it was just work rate. It was the power running of, you mentioned Hill, we know that's his one. Wood, Sinclair's another one, Crouch is another one, Jack Steele's getting back to his best, I think, in that department. Owens even, Wanganeen, Miller, they just couldn't go with them, the Cats. And as the game went on, even in that last passage of play, Hill, breaking out to the wing and running it down and bouncing. And Mason Wood is another one. And Rowan Marshall himself, who's just a workhorse, and we know plays that number one ruck role really well. We spoke about their forward line starting to come together nicely at the right time of the year with King and Memory back in. All had their moments tonight. The Smalls got involved and got on the end of a few. So, kicking for goal aside, it couldn't have gone much better for the Saints tonight. I thought they were absolutely dominant, and they put a full stop on this Cats year. And you're right. It's certainly, the personnel side of it hasn't helped from the Cats' point of view. We know they'd love blitz halves out there. Cam Guthrie we just haven't seen at all this year, really. And a handful of others, Jack Henry and one or two others. But, yeah, they've got some soul-searching to do. We know that defending a premiership is extraordinarily hard these days, in particular with such an even competition. And they're going to have to go back to the well, which we know they do so well. Find some positives out of some of these younger players like Bruin, like Bowes and Holmes, getting some more games into them, and then the questions will come on those senior players, on Zach Tui, Tom Hawkins himself. It was a tough night tonight for senior players, and when you're chasing backside like they were tonight, even Paddy Dangerfield is great a player as he has been. He had a really ordinary night and was made to look pedestrian at times tonight as well. So full credit to the Saints. They earn their crack at this. They earn their spot in the 8 at the moment, and they get a chance to. And if they play like that, especially the way that if they run like that and play like that through the middle of the ground, they'll give the Lions a real test next week, no doubt about it.
Just the second time in 17 seasons that the Cats won't play finals footy.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
So it's an incredible, enduring feat down there at the Cattery, but it won't continue this year, and the Saints are mightily pleased with themselves, and well may they be, as they embrace Simon Lethlean, their CEO, as they make their way into the rooms. Let's go to Ian Cohen, who's down in the rooms.
Muted celebrations, you would say, because they still know the job's in front of them. Jack Higgins in fine form, though. Game 100.
Go marching in! Oh, and the Saints go marching in! Oh, I want to be a Secura! Oh, and the Saints go marching in! Oh, and the Saints go marching in! Oh, and the Saints go marching in! Oh, I want to be a Secura! Oh, and the Saints go marching in!
So certainly celebratory mode here, but one more week to go. Obviously, they've eliminated the Cats. We're going to speak to Bradley Hill after the team meeting.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for that, Ian Cohen. Now, elsewhere, it's 2 goals. Sydney's lead, 11-7-73, plays 9-7-61 with a quarter hour to play in that game. If you wanted to listen to a call of that match, jump on the ABC Listen app and click on the AFL Extra button, and you'll be able to hear that fixture taking place at the moment. So ABC Listen app, AFL Extra toggle, you'll see it. It's got a red and blue button, and it'll say Adelaide and Sydney. Okay, if you're a St Kilda fan and you're leaving the game, let me try and explain how all of this pans out. We are essentially down to 9 teams that can make the 8. So eliminated today. This is assuming that Sydney hold on and win. Bombers, Cats and Crows are all out. And the Saints will play finals if they win over Brisbane at the Gabba next week, which will be a tough ask because they very rarely lose there, Brisbane. or one of the following things takes place. The Bulldogs lose against West Coast tomorrow and Geelong in round 24. They won't lose against West Coast tomorrow. Sydney lose to Melbourne next Sunday, or GWS lost to Carlton next Sunday. If the Dogs, Swans and Giants all win their remaining games, it will come down to a percentage battle between the Dogs, Giants and the Saints. As it stands at the moment, St Kilda have the best percentage. They're on 108.6, the Bulldogs 108.5, and GWS 105.6. So it is...
Darcy Fogarty's just at the post.
Mighty even at the moment.
Knowing St Kilda's luck, they will be the first team in history to be in the finals after round 23.
And miss the finals.
But not make the finals.
Well,
first time ever we've had 24 rounds.
I couldn't imagine that heartbreak.
Carlton were the first team since 1977 last year to be in the 8 every week of the season and miss the 8. And St Kilda could do it this year, the very next year. So the only good news, Berkey, and I say this with the greatest sincerity, St Kilda fans are well accustomed to heartbreak.
They are. So what you're saying is potentially it might be out of the Saints and the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Most likely. Oh, well, I win either way.
It is the Nathan
It's all
Burke
about me. I don't care.
double with the way it is at the moment. But and all of this is riding on Sydney and Adelaide, and the Crows are coming home with a wet sail at the moment. So we'll see how all of that
Does that all
plays out.
change if the Crows win?
It does. Scrap that. The Crows are still alive. So the scenarios...
Who have they got next week?
Look at West Coast
once
next
again.
week.
Once again.
Oh,
and that is the interesting point.
So if they win this, they'll finish on 48 with good percentage.
I mentioned about how close the percentage is. I mean, the West Coast Eagles and North Melbourne, teams who have played them twice this year, I'll try and run through that. Getting back to the performance of the Saints, because we do need to celebrate it. Started like they were shot out of a cannon, as Corby often says, and they kicked the first 3 goals of the game. And really had it in their keeping from that point onwards and looked the better of the two teams, bar their errant kicking in front of goal.
And it took to the last quarter, I think you mentioned it, Ben, where the Cats kicked 2 goals in a row. And that was probably the impressive thing about the Saints, is that when the Cats did get a goal, they managed to counter. It was goal for goal for there a little while, but then the Saints got another one, and that's always a good sign. It's something the Western Bulldogs have really struggled with, had runs of 5 or 6 goals against them, and we know Geelong are capable of that. But the fact that they didn't allow them to kick multiple goals, back-to-back goals until the last quarter, is a really good sign.
Yeah, I thought they set the tone early, right from the first set of bounce, really, wasn't it? And then they just outworked, plus 25 contested footy, and then I think it was almost 100 more uncontested possessions. So that to me is when your game's in good order, when you're tough and hard inside and you're pressuring, you're forcing turnover. I mean, Geelong forwards had really dirty nights, generally speaking, maybe Myers aside. Part of that was the delivery, and part of that was a credit to what the pressure the Saints put on up the field for the majority of the night. So, yeah, all parts of the game, contest, tackling, pressure, and then, the way they use the ball as well to set up shots at goal. Okay, the scoreboard didn't reflect that. We know that. They weren't able to finish, but when you think about the 3 phases of their game, I think they were all in pretty good order tonight.
Free kicks were 20-5, which is a low number, probably made mention of by the Cats supporters, but none of those goals, free kicks, really ended up in goals for the Saints. It weren't like they were getting cheap ones in front of goals. They got it. They actually earned their goals. There might have been a cheap one around the middle, but I don't think it certainly didn't affect the result by any stretch.
No, and they earned a lot of those from being first to the footy and tackling harder and pressuring, and those stats would absolutely reflect that. So they were a bit stiff at times, Geelong tonight, but certainly had no impact on the game at all. The Saints had 20 marks inside 50, so again that's a really good number, good sign. Mixture of contested and uncontested marks, and we spoke about that blend of that forward 6 starting to come together nicely, with Memory coming back into the side at the right time of the year. King, you think looks like his shoulder's okay, and hopefully he's going to hold up for what's to come. And then those sort of small to medium forwards. Sharman had his moments, didn't he? Probably outpointed by Stewart across the night. I thought Stewart was probably Geelong's best player, but Sharman's got some brilliance, hasn't he? And then Higgins and Gresham and Butler all had their opportunities. So, but that midfield for me, especially with Marshall, is where the Saints can certainly take it right up to the top 4 teams. I think that sort of mids, their strength, their power, and their pressure when they're on, which gives their defenders an ability to defend a rush ball, a high ball, a pressured ball, and that's when Wilkie and Battle and these sort of guys come into their own. So that's the template for them. Can they do it against the best next week?
Question: Does Paddy go around again next year? 13 possessions at 30%.
Yeah, but last week, it's funny, isn't it? A week's a long time, as they say. Last week he was clearly their best player and almost pinched it off the Pies, by himself. So he looked sore and tired tonight, and some of his handball, he just had a shocker. He had an off night, so wouldn't make any calls on tonight. I think he'll benefit. It's been a long campaign, one into the other, obviously, and he's had to carry a lot of the can. He's been captain this year for the first time, and he hasn't had a lot of help with Guthrie and others in and out of the team. So I reckon he's looking forward to a break. Patrick?
Is Ryan Marshall the All-Australian ruckman, or is he in the squad?
He's got to be in the 40. I don't have the numbers. My gut feel is that Tim English has been just, but I'd need to see he's not far off. Gee whiz, if you're talking about possessions and impacts on game, and if they go on and finish in the top 8 and finish ahead of the Dogs, it's tight, isn't it? Who am I missing? I mean, Gawn's had a great month without Grundy, but his first half of the year was so-so, wasn't it, as they were trying to work out their best mix there.
Talking Briggs from GWS there for a little while. But
Oscar McDonald's had a really good year for the Lions, but don't think he's quite All-Australian level. When you think about it, to me, Marshall, he's sort of one out, isn't he, really?
Yeah.
It's been him and then a little bit of Mitch Owens and a little bit of, Ace Cordy, Zane Cordy, sorry. So, he's got to be in the 40. And then you need to go through the numbers in a bit more detail.
24 possessions,
he's staggered if he's not
10
the 40.
marks.
Ross Lyon loves a long team meeting, so we'll probably have a while before we get to Bradley Hill. But your 2 St Kilda champions, where are they at? Because I think most of us look at this St Kilda team and think Ross is wringing the neck of the sponge, or whatever you want to call it. He's getting the last little droplets out of it, and they're probably going to overachieve by playing finals. Not really challenged in September. Where are they at?
They've got a lot of improvement in certain areas. So I think Philippou, Sharman, Caminetti, Wanganeen Malera, Owens, they're the ones that are going to come through. That's where you're going to get your improvement from. Where do I think that they need to focus their improvement on is probably their midfield at times can be a bit same. So I'd like to get a little bit more depth. Whether any of those guys like a Windhager and Owens or Philippou, they're talking about them potentially becoming those sort of midfielders. So that's those guys there. That's the future with King and those guys. So it's certainly on the way up. They're not sort of, hey, we're hanging on, we're getting the best out of this mob. I absolutely think they're on the way up.
That was pretty much their best side. Dougal Howard's on the injury list. The only others, Zach Jones, Dan McKenzie, but that was pretty much the best Saints side that they can field with their list. Yeah, I think that when you look at the phases, I think what they do to an elite level. So I think they're certainly top 4 defence and have been throughout the year. So premiership teams need to be top 4 defence. So tick that box. I think they know that they're probably 1 or 2 real match winners short. That's why they went for DeGoey last year. But there's a hope that Owens becomes that, Philippou becomes that. They don't want for too much more, I don't think. Wanganeen Miller has had a fantastic year. He's been underrated and unspoken about a little bit. I think they know at their heart of heart. Well, not even that. They've been quite public in talking about the fact that they might lack 1 or 2 real match winners that the top 4 teams, real top echelon teams have. But with that profile, that defensive profile, they're going to be hard to beat.
in September if they get there.
Let's head back down into the Victoria St Kilda rooms. Ian Cohen has a guest with him.
Absolutely. Brad Hill is with me. And Brad, it seemed that you just ran the Cats off their feet. You just had too much power running, too much go forward, and a great win in the end.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic win, and we spoke about we just want to have a four-quarter performance, and I thought we did that today and started off well and finished off strong too.
History was against you. You don't defeat them a lot. You've only beaten them a couple of times in the last dozen years, so you knew you had that to contend with, obviously. But coming in, what was the mindset?
We're probably playing down Geelong a fair bit, so they're hard to beat down there. But we just wanted to back ourselves in, play our way, and I thought we did that. Our defence stood up pretty well, and our pressure from the forwards was outstanding as well, and able to put heat on the ball and get some turnovers, and we moved the ball pretty well too, so it was nice.
Just before we head upstairs, how is that knee? I saw a bit of a hobble around early in the game.
Oh, I've had it for a while. It's a little bit. It's the fat pad on the front of the knee. So sometimes when I kick it a bit too hard, it bloody grabs and all the nerves hurt a little bit. So I just got to tape it up.
Well, upstairs, a couple of Saints in Luke Ball and also Nathan Burke.
Brad, Nathan Burke here. Congratulations tonight, mate. Have you handed in your GPS and gone over and looked at the screen and got a number?
No, I haven't had a look yet, but I'm normally not the highest in overall distance, but it's more so the high speed stuff where I'm pretty high in that area.
Yeah, who do you battle with in the high intensity running?
No one's close. I think the top 20 records, I've got them all.
In all seriousness, no, Brad. We're just speaking about your one wood is that it really stood out tonight as the game went on, and okay, you didn't convert your chances, and the game could have been over a lot earlier, but you did run them off their legs, and that is your game, isn't it? You set up behind your defensive pressure and structures, and then your ability to really work up and back on transition.
Yeah, definitely, and we spoke about it all year in pre-season. We've got a lot of good runners at this footy club, and that's one of our strengths as a team, that we can outrun teams, and so we play to our strengths tonight, and that's what we want to do, and we want to work teams over with our work rate.
The big bloke must be a good runner. Is he a big bro?
Big bro.
We spoke about. He really just thrives on being. He gets the odd sort of pinch hit from one or two others, but he just loves the workload.
Yeah, bloody oath. I think he beats a lot of the inside mids in the 3K as well. I think he's in our top 10. So the big fella can run, and we want the ball in his hand as well. He uses it well. So he's had a fantastic year, and he's pretty much rucking alone all year. So he's done an unreal job.
And Wangani Malera there, coming off the half back line, mate. You take him under your wing and show him the ropes, but he's learning pretty quickly.
Yeah, he's had an outstanding year. I don't think many people have talked about him and how good of the year he's had. And we want to get the ball in his hands, because when he does have the ball, he makes good decisions, and he's got a beautiful kick on him, and he's only got to get better and better. And him and Sinclair working together, running off the half back, have been damaging for us. So it's been brilliant.
Yeah, and how did you treat this game? Was it like this is an elimination final, or did you think ahead, or the importance of it, or just go out and do what you do?
Yeah, we knew what was on the line. Like it's been spoken publicly. We need to win this game, and I'm not sure if it locked us in for final after that win, but I think we got Brisbane next week, so that's going to be a big challenge. So we wanted to get that game done, and play our brand of footy that we sort of last 3 weeks have been standing up, and we're sort of playing our best footy. So it's going to be a big challenge against Brisbane next week, and hopefully we can get that done.
Hasn't quite locked you in just yet, Bradley. The way it stands at the moment, you need Adelaide to win over Sydney, and they trail by 9 points with 4 minutes remaining. So if they can win, you're there. But I know Ross is very process orientated. He'll be week after week, same drill.
Yeah, he sort of touched on it that we're not locked in, so we've got to prepare and get ready for Brisbane this week, and that's going to be another challenge.
Well, that answered my question. I was going to ask how much the players were talking about whether you were in or out or what you knew just yet, but there we have it.
Yeah, Rossi works.
Brad Hill with us on Grandstand AFL. Brad, it's Jess Webster here. We were chatting before you joined us about some of the young players you've got in this side. How excited are you about the direction of this footy club, not just for this year, but in the years to come?
Yeah, it's been awesome. We've got a lot of young boys coming through with, Mitchie Owens, Nazar Wanganeen-Miller, we've got Matthias, we've got Windhager. There's a lot of young boys coming through, and there's even the boys who've been around for 3 or 4 years now, so they just got to keep improving. And we've got a lot of young talent coming through, so it's good to see.
And of course, you've won a few flags in your time. You're not quite there yet in finals, but you're nearly there. What would it mean to you to play another final series at this time of your career?
Yeah, no, it feels like I haven't played much finals since I left Hawthorn. Well, we've only played the one time at St Kilda when we were in the hub year, so, and it didn't really feel as good as what it normally does with the crowds and stuff. So, and being in Melbourne, so it'd be unreal if we do. But yeah, like I said before, we've got to prepare for Brisbane this week, and it's going to be a big challenge, and they're a tough team to beat up there.
Bradley, go grab your ABC Listen app, open it up, AFL Extra button. You'll be able to listen to the end of Adelaide and Sydney and find out if you're locked into the finals. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah.
There is Brad Hill chatting to us here on Grandstand AFL. So 8 points is Sydney's advantage with a couple of minutes remaining.
If Adelaide wins, too.
Yeah, the Saints are in. Good point from Ken. We have missed this. Ken, and he presented it in a very polite manner, which can be rare on the SMS line, but he said, hey guys, what about the set shots on goal? None of you have mentioned that yet. Go Saints.
Yep, 7-12 from set shots.
Could be costly in a big final, couldn't it?
Yeah. I thought we spoke about that a fair bit. But
No, we did. I think it just means post-game.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah. It was the one blip really on what I thought was a super performance tonight. From the Saints, just that ability and it is a factor if you want to compete against the top four teams. You got to go back and take those chances. And a lot of them we expect. Oh wow, sorry, I've just seen Josh Rochelle just kick a magic goal to put the Crows within 2 points with 90 seconds to go. So. He took his chance. There you go. There's the difference.
Bradley Hill down in the rooms listening on his ABC Listen app.
So him we could hear
He's jumping up and down because of Josh Rochelle's goal. So back to 2 points.
So if the Crows win, they can still make finals.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
Yep, they can still make finals.
If the Dogs lose, yeah.
St Kilda will be locked in. So 99 seconds remaining, and St Kilda and Adelaide fans alike cheering for another Crows goal.
Has it rained over there? It looks very slippery.
I think it was raining during the third quarter and early in the fourth.
Jeez, why would he come off?
It's a minute
kick
and
the goal.
39
He's the magic man. He's just come off. 90 seconds to go.
It's probably on the list, the chart. That's when you got to come off after you kick a goal. It's a minute and a half to go.
I might get the votes out of you gentlemen now, if I can. Are you prepared for that, or
No,
do we
we're
need
not.
to? Okay, we'll pause for a moment. We'll talk about the Cats. Premiership defence over. It's been an incredible era for Geelong, from 2011 winning that last flag of the treble to winning the flag last year after so many prelims. Is this the inevitable decline, or can they come again with this group, do you think? We're watching the Adelaide
Why are we
Sydney
taking this bet? You commentator, why are we taking this call?
Broadcast rights don't allow us to take
fair
this
enough.
game as
Fair
I
enough.
understand it. So
All right.
we can basically tell you what's happening as it happens.
Crow just dropped the chess mark.
You can jump on the ABC Listen app.
Well, they're going to get a shot for goal here. Is it Ben Keys on his left foot too?
It
Wow.
is.
Yep, 35 metres out on the boundary
Oh,
line.
take your time, Ben.
So he's going to snap on his left from the boundary line
Kicked
and
it.
bend
No
it through. Keys has kicked it.
That's the Saints.
Oh,
He's done the big salute. He's done the
they're
salute.
still hanging
He's
his
still celebrating.
Balls in
Oh,
play,
so it's
boys.
a 1 point game
no.
with a minute 10 remaining.
What's a draw do?
That's a good
We're not prepared for this.
I haven't factored in a draw. So
Draw.
we are
Adelaide
waiting.
are out with a draw. The Swans go to 48. Equal with the Giants, but better percentage.
Keys is still
Because
complaining.
they've already had a draw. They didn't even go to the score review, did they?
No.
Umpire's just gone bang.
Oh,
wow.
So it's going to be a throw-in on the wing.
Good radio, this, isn't it, Benny?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Well, that's why I tried to keep the conversation
Let's
moving.
have a look.
and said that
Has it hit the post?
It's
Back of the pad.
Must hit the padding.
Oh, it's a
The
big
umpire
call
was
from the
right
umpire.
there.
It didn't hit the post.
Wow.
Big call.
So Sydney by a point as it stands at the moment. And they're going inside 50, Sydney here.
Well,
So
they're gonna kick.
I think
1-0 free kick.
possibly a free kick to the Crows. So they'll have 35 seconds.
I think it's
To go
going to the
end to end.
Swans. No, it's not.
No, in the back.
So the Crows with it. And they've got 30 seconds to go coast to coast here. They trail by a point. Their season on the line, and Hickey sending it back inside 50 for Sydney. So
Oh,
I
that's
think
holding
the
the
Crows
ball.
are going to
No, they
run out of time. They're not going to do it.
All
So
right. Swans by a point.
St
Looks
Kilda
like.
won't be there yet. Sydney will be alive, and Adelaide's season will be done and dusted
Surely
on a
there's
very
gonna
close call for a hit the post in the dying stages.
I'd love to see what the Saints players are doing in their rooms at the moment.
You reckon they'll be watching it on their phones? Well, that's a free kick.
Do you reckon the AFL will do a delayed snicko?
I'm not sure. It is going to be
see one, aren't we?
It is going to be a Sydney 1-point win. So the Swan season remains alive and the Crows season is over. And as we expected, St Kilda still with a little bit of work to do to play finals this year.
How many's that in the row for the Swans? 8? Extraordinary. They were 15th.
Yeah.
After round, you go to the numbers, Benny. Extraordinary effort. We talk about, and it's not a bad segue to go back to Geelong, who beat them
6 in a row.
Is it 6?
Yeah,
Is it
6 in a row?
Sorry, yeah. Anyway, still a magnificent effort. They were gone, weren't they? They were absolutely shot. The Swans, and we talk about the Cats, who aren't going to be able to defend their premiership this year. We know that, and how tough it is when you do go all the way the year before. Well, what a club the Swans are to be able to dust themselves, dig themselves out of the hole that they were in. And it looks like they're going to play finals now. Too. They're two great clubs. We know that, aren't they? With their ability just to contend year after year, but comes to an end for the Cats tonight, Ben, and they've got some decisions to make. They do.
So what I can say with absolute clarity at this point in time is that essentially we're down to 9 teams that can make the 8. Geelong, Essendon and Adelaide are all out. They will not be playing finals. The Saints will play finals if they beat Brisbane or one of the following takes place, which is if the Bulldogs fail to win both of their remaining games, Sydney lose to Melbourne, or GWS go down to Carlton. If they all win, it comes down to percentage. So this is where it gets really just murky at the moment on the AFL ladder. The percentage, St Kilda 108.9, Sydney 111.6, GWS 105.6, and the Bulldogs 108.5.
Well, they need to supercharge that tomorrow, the Dogs.
Yeah.
No excuse not to here against the Eagles.
So, it is.
So the Swans go to 50-50, is that right?
Yeah.
So the Swans have Melbourne next week. Giants play Carlton the last game, and Brisbane take on Sydney. So, very interesting. Oh, sorry, you know what I mean. Brisbane isn't Kilda. I said that, didn't I? Anyway, you know what I mean.
and the Bulldogs have the most golden opportunity to make up percentage taking on the West Coast Eagles tomorrow that you could possibly wish for.
Yeah, and if they're serious, so the Dogs, they go down and beat Geelong too. Based on what we saw tonight, they go down and beat the Cats down at GMHBA too. If they're fair income about playing finals the week after. So anyway, it's a brilliant finish, isn't it, to what's been a fascinating year as we have a look at this.
I get the feeling this is going to be one of the big stories of the week. Whether the snap
no point
from
in showing us all this. I mean,
Ben
it's clearly the umpire's right there.
Yeah.
He's hurt.
So the snap from Ben Keys called us hit the post. He was celebrating, thought he'd won the game for the Adelaide Crows on the snap and kept the season alive. And just looking at the replay, I'm not certain it did hit the post.
There was one Sydney player in the goal square who pointed straight at the post. As soon as it went through, he just went bang straight at the post.
That's one you're just not going to know. It's either you can either hear it when you're there, or it's a snicko. That's what we're going to need to see.
But the umpire didn't go upstairs, and he had 2 Swans players jumping in front of him. So it was a really, really big call.
Just repeating here, St Kilda winning by 33 points over Geelong, 12-16-88, plays 8-7-55. So Geelong sees it over. Our eyes turn to the Adelaide Oval and the end of Sydney and the Crows. The votes, are we ready for them?
Paulie's got
them. Paulie's going to
after all
them.
that I got swept up in the finish, but give me a second. We'll start with 3. We need 3 to Jack Sinclair. I just thought from go to woe. I mean, no one went anywhere near him. And it was going to be a terrific matchup in terms of the Geelong half forwards, which is their real strength, against the attacking and offensive nature of the Saints halfbacks, including Sinclair. And I thought he was clearly the best on ground, and he stat padded a bit late, but. Even when they were under the pump, and you called it, Burke, his ability to go back and win a ground ball inside defensive 50, Jack Sinclair, he'll be He'll earn his second All-Australian jacket in a couple of weeks' time, and he's just had another magnificent year. I'm going to give 2 votes to Rowan Marshall, who, look, a bit of a shame that Ratugolea went down early, because I thought the DeConning matchup was going to be a really fascinating one across the night, and his athleticism would at least keep Marshall honest, but in the end he had to go back, and Marshall was one out against a third gamer and dominated, as you would expect. 24 possessions, 28 hit-outs, 10 marks and a goal. Rowan Marshall. And I was going to give one to Tom Stewart, but do the Cats deserve a vote? Berkey, Can you give the 1 vote for me? I don't think they do either. I think he was Geelong's best player, but...
Yep. I'm going to give it to Brad Crouch.
Brad Crouch,
just for his work in the clearances.
His second half was very good. Yeah,
Yep.
He had 18 possessions in the second half and put the game to bed. But you could probably raffle that, and that's a good sign for the Saints too. It could have been Brad Hill, Crouch, Jack Steele, who's his last month's been really good. Wanganeen Miller, who was good again. A good team performance.
Great work over the course of the evening, Borley. Same to you, Berkey. It's been great to see you on a Saturday night. The Cats' premiership defence is done. They've lost by 33 points to St Kilda, 12-16-88, plays 8-7-55. And we're just seeing a replay of the snap from Ben Keys and whether there is a snicko on the ball as it goes past the post. You know what you should do? You should tune into Grandstand AFL Sunday from midday tomorrow. We'll have all of the fallout. Myself, Nathan Burke, Mark Murphy. A big thank you to Ian Cohen downstairs. A big thank you to our tech, Jules McKenzie. A big thank you to Lauren Borden. Double duties again on a Saturday for Loz Borden, the workhorse of the Grandstand AFL team, getting it done back there. It is St Kilda, nearly in the finals, with a 33-point win over Geelong. But from us here at Docklands, on behalf of the whole team on this Saturday night, we're saying good night. And this is how it all sounded, the Saints taking down the Cats. Good night.
Ross slays on, sends Saints into attack. Free kick, whistle on play to St Kilda with the advantage be paid at will. It's Owens running into an open goal and dribbles home the first. Saints on the board through their rising star. Ball goes to ground. It ends up with Butler, who can get on the right and snap a beauty from 40 out. And the Saints are sending an early message to the Cats under the roof.
Myers kick to Dangerfield, puts him under pressure. Tries to get a handball back to Myers, he does. Short kick to close. Cats at half forward. Away to Zach Guthrie. Eyes the goals and kicks the Cats first. Didn't they need it?
Wanganeen Miller gives it to Marshall. His kick at the turnover. It's marked by Smith. He can centre it inside forward 50. Duncan takes the grab, 45 out directly in front. Mitch Duncan comes in from 45, shoots towards goal and guides it home.
Steele's bursting out of the middle, kicking the Saints inside 50. Membry can't mark at the Fall Hill. Handball to King, back to Steele, snaps it towards full forward. Sharman juggles it down. 20 out, keeps it low, drills it through. The Saints respond to the early second quarter challenge from the Cats. Rose just looking at a pretty congested attacking 50. Now he'll veer out to the right and try and chisel it into the path of the Hawk. Tom Hawkins, too strong. Hands outstretched, he marks 40 out tight angle. Couple of weeks out with the hamstring issue. Tom Hawkins, so reliable on the set shot. And he brings the Cats right back into this match.
Now they kick inside forward 50 to a pack. A big shutout from Cordy, no free kick. Ball spills to Tui, gives it to Holmes, and kicks the goal the Cats needed.
Ricochets away for the Saints. Now they're away down the city wing. Crouch, short kick to Membry. He'll chip it on to King, attacking edge of the square. He'll give the handball to Sinclair, misses him. Sinclair gathers, chips it short, and Higgins marks. Higgins comes in and drills it through the middle.
Beautiful tap from Marshall in the middle, down to Crouch. Great handball to Steele. Kicks to full forward, what a leap! Cooper Sharman! Showing all of his athleticism. This raw, talented kid has pulled in a river. Spectacular grab from Cooper Sharman, the 23-year-old. 30 out, directly in front. He guides it home for his second.
Goes to Wanganeen Malera, removes it onto Wilkie. Dock side of the ground, stabs it short to Windhager. Left half forward. Windhager looks into the pocket for big Rowan Marshall. launching at the footy, can't take the mark. Filippo with the fall of it, handball to Owens, handball away to Higgins, gets it on the boot and slams it through. And
Geelong's premiership defence is over. The Saints have 1 foot in the final door. They win by 33.
When the Saints